To represent your country as an AFL player, there's no greater accolade in my opinion. It's one of the things that you really cherish the opportunity to do, but you also envy it of other sports like cricket where they get to do it often. That's what the game is. But for us, this is our only opportunity. Putting the Australian Guernsey on, it's so different to representing your own club because all of a sudden you're playing with players that you haven't spent really much time with. You've been banded together as all Australians, but it's just a different feeling pulling on that green and gold, and it's almost emotional that you get because the gravity of it, it's very special. It's more than just your footy club that you're representing, it's more than just your friends and family, it's all of Australia because that's what the Guernsey represents. It's like nothing else.
International rules returns to Australia. Australia versus Ireland for the 41st time in a test match between these two great sporting countries. Ireland have dominated the past 6 years. They've won 6 of the past 7 tests since 2011. But at home, the Australians in their conditions on a very warm day at the Adelaide Oval, confident of getting this 2-test series off to a strong start. The first test here at the Adelaide Oval, the second next Saturday night across at Domain Stadium. Hello, everybody. Basil Zempilas alongside two men who have represented their respective countries with distinction. Ty Kennelly's played the most of any player in international rules, and Mark Bickley, who's one of the only players to have been suspended.
Thank you very much for that.
Welcome, boys. It's great, isn't it, to have the international rules game back?
It's great to have it back, Basil, like you said, in this time of the year. And any time you're playing for your country, it's very, very proud. And there's a lot of knockers on this game, but I think it's great to have football or footy back at this time of the year.
Tell you what, Bix, you've turned on the weather for us today.
Yeah, look, it's been warm the last couple of days here in Adelaide, expecting a top of 34 degrees. Did a little bit of research today and worked out the hottest ever day in Ireland is actually only 33.3, and that was in 1870. So, Ty, they're not going to see anything like this.
And there's a couple of redheads out there, Mark, too, so they're going to be melting.
5 degrees currently in Dublin. It is quite a contrast, isn't it? Speaking of contrast, Ben Brown was on his honeymoon this time last week, was in Iceland. His new wife, Hester, put this up on Instagram. What a contrast it is, and what a dash he made to be here and be available.
Well, he did. He only had to be asked once. He was so rapt to be given the opportunity. So for him, he was no hesitation to get back. And what an opportunity for the big man coming off a really great season with the Kangaroos.
Good luck to him. It's great to have him out there. One of the new faces, many new faces for the Australians, in fact, for both teams. This gentleman, well, he's seen it all, including the famous dog on the ground at Croke Park. You'd remember it well, Ty.
I do indeed. It was a great moment actually with myself and Jude Bolton involved in it. But this is like a moment of the pig in the AFL with Tony Lockett. It's a very special moment in the history of the game. But the dog was an extra player for Ireland. Was on for about 2.5 minutes in Croke Park.
Well, Ty, I didn't even recognise you. You had so much hair and you're a bit thinner then as well. Have a look at you.
Yeah, well, the bloke beside me, Jude Bolton, who's working here at Channel 7, is going back an awful lot too. I couldn't recognise him with that head of hair.
2004 that was. We've got a dog here as well, Biggs.
Yeah, well, let's hope he doesn't make his way out onto the playing arena. But look, it was a memorable moment, but it is. The crowd's starting to build here today, which is great.
Great moment for everyone to play for your country. We know that. We know the pride with which you both did it. And for Chris Scott, his first time as coach of the Australian team, we can listen in now on his pre-match address.
I think we've had a really good preparation the last few days, but let's be honest, it's been a fair bit about the trust that Ross and Brad and Jared and I have in you as a group, as pros. And the preparation in our mind has been first class over the last couple of days. But when you get the chance to play for your country with the best players in the competition, the preparation part, it's only part of it, isn't it? The most important part is that we deliver on the day. Okay, and we've got a formidable opposition out there. Okay, so the advantages we have over them are what? We tackle, they don't. We'll come forward at them. They're not used to pressure from the front. But they are quick, aren't they? And they are agile. So we can't expect that guys are going to get it done by themselves. BJ, you're going to be up helping them out, okay, but we've got to play together. If we get disjointed, they'll cut through us. So we're coming forward, we're getting on top of them. Yeah, we want to play an attacking brand of footy. Okay, we want to use the ball in the back half, but gee, when they get their hands on the ball, boys, let's get in their face. Okay, there's a lot of skill in the room. Okay, we've got a lot of talent. Okay, but let's not rely on that talent. Let's have everyone working together, get in their face, take it off them early.
One move already from Chris Scott. Joel Selwood is out sore, but he's hoping to play next week. Mark, here's the Australian lineup.
Yeah, Brendan Goddard, you heard Chris Scott talk about him pressing up, so expecting him to come off his line a bit further than what maybe the Irish keeper will. The small forwards are the key for Australia. I think Zorko has been outstanding through practice. You've got Eddie Betts, you've got Chad Wingard. Those guys have been outstanding in the practice with being able to make the ball talk. They can go both ways, the fade and the draw. A lot spoken about Zach Merritt. I spoke with Patrick Dangerfield yesterday and he just said he's been so excited. The youngest player amongst the Australian team, just wrapped to be amongst all those champion players.
And the Australians in the rooms just preparing themselves. So, as we know and saw just there, only the 5 on the bench, which will be interesting. Paddy Ryder, such a good season for him with Port Adelaide, and he'll relish playing here at home.
Oh, well, indeed. He'll obviously get that first tap away. Just looking at Chad Wingard there, I think he's got the other round ball, but he is going to be a very good player for Australia. And, of course, Travis Boak, one of the 4 club captains taking part today.
And Paddy Ryder, of course, not the only Paddy in the team, Paddy Dangerfield back in very familiar rooms for him.
Yeah, look, I saw him during the week as well. I think Rory Sloan might have put a picture up on social media of him back in front of his old locker there, the number 32 he wore with Adelaide with, of course, over 100 games and a best and fairest.
Joe Kernan is the coach of the Irish side again for this series. He was at the helm when Ireland won the one-off test match 2 years ago. He's with Mark Soderstrom.
Well, Joe, welcome along to Australia for the first time. So much talk about the heat. I think we found out it's something like 5 degrees in Dublin right now at the moment. But how are you guys coping?
Yeah, we're fine. We've had a few problems, but it is what it is, and that's it. We get on with it.
Now, you've had a few boys with a stomach bug. How have they pulled up, and how many are going to miss now?
There's 2 going to miss, Niall Murphy and Enda Smith. Pearce is 100%, so he's fine. He's starting.
OK, we've obviously talked so much about the different rules and that over the past few days and the different skills. What advantage do you guys feel like you have over the Australians?
Well, the skill of the ball, the movement of the ball, that's the thing that we've been used to all our life, whereas the Australian players are only this last week or so getting into it. But they bring out the skills, you know, their speed, their power, their long kicking too, and their catching is immaculate. So we have a bit of everything between both teams.
Well, Joe, you got the win with the Irish last time. Good luck today.
Yep, I know you mean that.
Good on you, Sodders. I'm sure he did. He's a very fair-minded man. And here is the Irish lineup, Tig.
Yeah, again, in this game, the goalkeeping's so important. And Niall Morgan, the goalkeeper from Tyrone, has got unbelievable accuracy with the ball on the ground. Then the guy number 20, Michael Murphy, big superstar, had a lot of AFL clubs offer him contracts to come out, decided to stay at home. And number 24, their captain, Aidan O'Shea from Mayo, who's lost 4 All-Ireland finals in 7 years. So he'll be looking to get a win. And number 22, a fellow Kerry man in Paul Murphy, is a half-back damaging. A lot of speed in this team. They'll be looking to use the speed and the skills that they've got because they're so familiar with the round ball, the trouble of the Australians.
Of course, a couple of Irish players that we're very familiar with down here.
Yeah, Zach Tuohy, of course, obviously made the move last year, and what a fantastic year he had with Geelong, and you know, he's become such a superstar of the competition now. It's great to see, and of course the other one in Pearce Hanley, and Pearce made the move up to the Gold Coast from having spending 8 years in Brisbane, and this is also a benefit of what's happening with the game between the two links in the two countries, that players from Ireland are getting opportunities to actually showcase their skills and the level that they can compete at AFL level.
And Mark, you get the feeling that the Irish players who play in the AFL and go back to play for Ireland really relish it, especially relish the opportunity.
Look, it is. It's a great opportunity for them. Obviously, they don't lose their patriotism. Tig, you'd be attest to that. But the interesting one you mentioned there was the interchange, and I know we were talking off air about it's not really usual for the Irish guys to come on and off like the Australian rules guys do. So I just wondered with this heat whether that might be an advantage for Australia.
So a maximum of 15 interchanges per quarter. The way they manage that in these conditions will be very important.
Well, of course, and look, like you said, the Irish boys don't like coming off, but you can get a couple of changes during the breaks itself also, which is not part of the 15 in the actual quarter itself. So that will help, but yeah, in this heat it's going to be interesting.
4 18-minute quarters ahead of us and a bunch of other modified rules. Here's Rory Sloan to talk us through them.
For those of you that have forgotten the international rules, here they are. Each team has 15 players on the field. A behind is worth 1 point. Overs worth 3 and a goal's worth 6.
Hughes for 6 points. The first 6-pointer of the night.
There are no boundary throw-ins, but a free kick is awarded against the team that last touched the ball. Shepherds are not allowed. Tackling an opponent below the shoulders and above the thighs is permitted. If the ball hits a post and comes back into play, it's play on. And come on the Aussies.
Goal kicker, let's get those balls. Come at me, Zach Tuohy. I tried to kick a 50. Would have hit the goalie in the toes, that one. Not that hard, Zorks. Okay, show us what you've been doing, brother. Open hand, I think. You just got to go for it, I reckon.
Eddie's got to turn with that. Paddy to Eddie to go.
Jeez, too easy. Now you're going to get tagged out of it. All right, start with the good kicks first. Yeah, baby, you've up. It's like you've been shopping in America, brother, with those shoes. And you can kick it like you. You can wear anything you want. Wow. We've got to get around the rules, don't we? We've got probably about 20 hours to work out what's going on.
Just repeating the news that Joel Selwood won't play in this first Test match. Welcome back here to the Adelaide Oval. There he is out in the middle with the Australian referee, Matt Stevic. But the AFL say he will play in the second Test match across in Perth at Domain Stadium alongside Mark Bickley and Ty Kennelly. They both represented their country at the international rules level. It brings back special memories. And I bet, Mark, for you, 2002, such an emotional time for the Australian team.
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, the circumstances weren't great. It was just after the Bali bombing. We had to win the last game. This is some celebrations afterwards, but actually observed a minute's silence and had the national anthem under the flag at half-mast. Like I said, about 11 hours after the Bali bombing, and at that stage, still a number of people, we weren't sure if they were going to survive or not.
It was an emotional time. You haven't changed a bit. Lingy has changed just a little bit, just a little bit. We speak about suburban grounds in AFL and the demise of them. Well, what about Galway back in 2006?
You're right, and absolutely seen where 35,000 people, and they're just crammed in on top of each other. And we go on, it's the first game of the series. You actually win this game, and being involved in it. And look at the scenes here after the game. It was like you have to win a grand final, and that raw emotion with people was absolutely very, very special for myself.
Great stuff, isn't it? Our co-commentator has had a foot in both camps over the years, Mark.
Well, look, I was really interested to see where you're going to line up. But last time you were with the Australians, you're actually singing the national anthem. We'll have a look here. There's the coaching staff. There's Gerard Healy, and there you are.
I don't believe it. That's not me. That's not me. It's somebody else. If my mum sees this vision, I'll be in trouble, Baz.
You do know the words, though, don't you?
I do, of course. We've got a couple of Australian children now, an Australian wife, but very much split sitting on both fences today. But we'll see after the game where I'm sitting.
Well, one guy who does know the Irish national anthem is Marty Morrissey. He is the Bruce McAvaney of Irish sports broadcasting. Marty, welcome to you. Great to have you down under yet again.
Thank you very much, Basil. I want you to know that this is the highlight of my career, to work with you and Mark. I'm sorry about the guy in the middle, but I'm sure you're carrying him rather well.
We love him down here, you know that. Now, what about the Irish and loving this weather? Have you enjoyed it so far?
Well, I've loved it when I have my shorts on and a T-shirt, but at training during the week at St Mary's Park, the GA lads really found it very, very difficult. So much so that training for yesterday here at the Oval was cancelled because they just felt the intense heat, 34 degrees and burning up. Lots of water, lots of wet towels around the place, and that's going to be the methodology today to try and keep the Irish lads cool. It's 5 degrees in Ireland today, wet and windy, and here we are, Tiger, myself with you.
You've got some stars in your team, and none bigger than Aidan O'Shea.
Yeah, Aidan O'Shea is one of our most... is our best footballer probably at the moment in the country. He certainly is our Irish captain, and as a young lad he watched the international rules and he wanted to play international rules. It was one of his lifetime ambitions. He can score points from any angle, but he's become a real leader. He's much maligned at times, but to me he's one of the finest footballers we have in Ireland, and they say that he's part of the reason why Mayo haven't won an All-Ireland, but he's part of the reason why they've gotten to the All-Ireland final.
Well, we just saw that set, so they've lost 4 of the last 7 All-Ireland finals.
And he's copped a lot of heat over all that. He's the one that they're saying, well, he's the leader. At times he hasn't played on the big day, but this year again he's been fantastic. And like Marty said, his leadership for a county that hasn't had the success has been enormous. They've been touching the door to win premierships the last 4 years, and it hasn't happened for him.
Marty, the curse of Mayo, it's legendary. Can you sum it up for us in 30 seconds?
Very briefly, the last time Mayo won the All-Ireland was 1951, and the team bus came through a little village called Foxford, where there was a funeral on at the time. But the story goes that the team bus, the All-Ireland champions, didn't stop to pay respect, and the priest put a curse on the Mayo team that they'd all have to die before they'd ever win an All-Ireland again. Now that's the story. Now there's 2 of them left.
Wow.
So God help them. I wish them well.
Aidan O'Shea's got a couple of snipers ready to go for those 2, I'm sure.
Hey, I'm sure it's not true, Basil.
No, let's hope not. Good luck. You're broadcasting the match back to Ireland.
Back to Ireland. We're on RTE television at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're live at the moment, and we're looking looking forward. And thank you to everybody on Channel 7. You've been brilliant.
Our great pleasure. We're really looking forward to it. We'll see you across in Perth as well. Good luck for Ireland for the series.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
And bye-bye, Dad.
We'll be back here at the Adelaide Oval, not far away from getting it underway. The first test, Australia and Ireland.
There's a fair difference between the oval ball and the round ball, but that's one of the great challenges about playing this game. You know, it is unfamiliar territory. It doesn't always go the way you wish it to. Not that it's any different for Sharon, mind you, but it's a great challenge. It's something that we have to adapt to. Obviously, the Irish play with the Gaelic ball in their regular season, so it's one of the things that we need to adjust to, but we've got some pretty talented players that I think will do some pretty special things with the round ball. You give Chad Wingard, Eddie Betts, look out if they get it.
Wingard, Betts and Zorko, we're told, handling the round ball particularly well. I'm with Ty Kennelly and Mark Bickley ahead of the first test match. Australia not far away from running out. What are the differences that you found, Mark, when you played the international rules?
Oh, look, it's all about the kicking, and we've heard that from the players pretty much all throughout the week. It's a different style of kick. You don't kick the ball running straight like you've become used to and grown up with the oval ball. So it's more trying to put a little bit of top spin on it, and as you kick it round your body. Now, when I played 15 years ago, kicking around the corner wasn't all that popular, but nowadays the players are much more proficient at it. So I think they can make the adjustment.
And it's about adapting to your strength as a team. And also, obviously, the Australian boys know the physical side of the game. They're used to it. And the Irish boys know the skill of the round ball itself is their major strength. And if the Australians can take that away through perceived pressure and whatnot, well, that's going to benefit the team.
Got to ask you about this heat. It's overcast here at the Adelaide Oval, so it's almost deceptively hot. Will it have a negative impact on the Irish?
I think 100%. You know, already we've heard about the Irish players asking the interchange to be moved back into the actual interchange bench itself, because at the moment you're in Adelaide Oval, it's back for sure. They're not used to this humidity and they're not used to this heat. When the sun comes out, it's extremely hot, and it will affect them. And I think it'll affect the Australian team just as much, because the fact that it's been an off-season and you haven't played a season in the summer either.
Yeah, look, a lot of those guys just coming back from holidays, as you mentioned, and you know it's really their first bit of serious stuff. Now they would have done some sort of running over that period, but not the stop, start, and the intensity which we'll see today.
Interesting that the Irish, their 23-man squad that they've brought out, there's 15 of them making their international rules debut. And they've only got 3 players over 30. By contrast, the Australians with 4. Burgoyne, 35 years of age and captaining the side. So it's a new-look Irish squad.
Yeah, it is, with some experience the other side of it. But generally what's happening in the game in Gaelic football at home, it's becoming a young man's game, really. There's not many players today playing Gaelic football over 30 because of the demands on the footballers right now from a professional sense. But yes, it's an amateur game, but demands on the players. And some of the senior players that they've got in this team have a lot of experience in Cadigan and Murphy and O'Shea. They've played a lot of football. And Pierce Hanley and Zach too will give them a lot of information about the Australians to make them feel comfortable playing the game.
And Tiger, looking at the physique of the players, they look much heavier than what I remember. They were well known for being really fast and light, but now these guys have got some serious size on their side.
It's a big influence from the rugby influence, because of the impact the game has gone so professional in Ireland, the rugby game, and it's had a trickle-down effect to the Gaelic footballers from an S&C and conditioning point of view. And as you see and you'll see out here, they'll look just as big, probably not the height-wise, but certainly the bulk-wise.
Tiger, we heard from Marty Morrissey earlier from RTE, the national broadcaster in Ireland, as we look at the Australians just breaking up from their final pre-match address. This is a big deal back home. Sunday morning in Ireland, a lot of people watching. It means a lot.
It's a big... I think Ireland do it very, very well as far as the patriotism and being patriotic about their country. They've had a lot of history, obviously, in their identity and whatnot, and Ireland do it extremely well that way. It's a huge weekend in Ireland in Irish sport. They played Denmark in the soccer to qualify for the World Cup. It was 0-0, and they played South Africa in the rugby, and of course this morning back in Ireland. It's a huge weekend in Irish sport.
So let's hone in on a couple of the Irish stars as the Aussies make their way towards the race. And Michael Murphy, the most experienced Irishman out there today.
Yeah, he's captain a couple of years also. He's captain for 2 years with a bit of success. This guy hit the scene as a 17-year-old and playing senior football for Donegal from a small club town called Glenswilly, as you'll see it. They're a great name, as you'll know, Baz. But this guy can play. He's got a radar and can kick and can score from anywhere. Very big, very strong, and will cause trouble to the Australian team. And a fantastic guy to have around the football club.
Conor McManus, another player who has been spoken to by AFL clubs, noticeably Essendon.
Yep, and this guy is goal sneak. Through and through, just loves the goal. And as we know in the past, in the game itself, the Irish love to go for the unders and the scores because that's what they're used to doing. And this guy will be looking to score 1 or 2 of those.
So as you would expect at home, a terrific reception for the Australians, led out by Shaun Burgoyne. What a great honour for him at 35 years of age. And it's very flattering, isn't it? And well-deserved. Such a popular AFL player.
Oh, absolutely. And the 4 club captains in the side, but I don't think anyone batted an eyelid when Shaun Burgoyne got the nod because he's just so respected. Brendan Goddard's got the orange jersey on, so he's in the goals as the goalkeeper. He's got a rich heritage for Australia, of course, particularly here in Adelaide. Gary McIntosh, famously back in the 80s, really made an impression on the Irish, and Dustin Fletcher in recent times has been a real stalwart. Scott Pendlebury, we know he's very proficient with the round ball, but it's more of a basketball we've become used to him with. But no doubt he is a technician of the game, whether it's round ball, oval ball, or this Irish combination here. He'll be a star. Rory Sloane, another absolute competitor, so expect him to be amongst everything.
What I love is the selection criteria for Australia now. If you're not an All-Australian, it makes the best play with the best, which should be attraction for people to come and watch.
So we're set and ready to go. The crowd have come in late, but they're here now. It's going to be fast and furious. Australia versus Ireland, the first test in international rules for 2017, live around Australia from the Adelaide Oval. Back with the bounce.
There it is, the absolutely magnificent Adelaide Oval here for the first test of the international rules for 2017. And this time yesterday, there was a cricket pitch in the middle of the Adelaide Oval there, gearing up, of course, for the Ashes test coming up. But that was removed at 9 p.m. last night. It took 5 hours for Damien Huff and his grounds crew to get that out. So at 2 a.m. this morning, they were pretty much ready to go. England has been playing at Cricket Australia 11 here over the past few days, and it looks absolutely magnificent, hot. 34 degrees is what we expect, and we know the Irish are going to find this very, very tough because right now in Dublin, early in the morning, it is 5 degrees, and the boys from Ireland, they've had their chance to acclimatise. They got into Australia on Monday evening, and they've been together here in Adelaide since Thursday, and boy, they have found it very, very tough. And you can see the Aussies just earlier today, they were out on the deck getting ready. The Irish boys hidden away in the change rooms till around about now when they have been going. Now, the last time these two met was back in 2015. The Irish did get up there. Only 3 Aussies have survived from that team: Eddie Betts, Paddy Dangerfield and Brendan Goddard. And for the Irish, well, there are 5 players that are making their return to the side from 2015, headed by the skipper Aidan O'Shea, and of course Conor McManus, who we heard the boys talk about before, who's terrific in front of goals. Well, just in time for the national anthems for both teams. Let's head down to the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League and Virgin Australia welcome you to the first test of the 2017 International Rules Series. Would you please stand and join the coaches, players and umpires for the Irish and Australian national anthems performed by Vincent O'Connor.
Oti precious gifts, a beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia
Well, two rousing renditions of the respective national anthems, Ireland and Australia. And now the officials shake hands with the players. Matt Stevic for Australia and Maurice Deegan for Ireland. We would expect that, as we've seen in recent times, Tig and Mark, series has been very competitive but played in good spirits.
Generally, the start to the series, always the first game, the Irish take off to a flying start because of the familiarity with the round ball. They're just so more familiar with the game. It's such a foreign object, as we know, Mark, with the round ball in your hand from an AFL perspective. But the Irish boys just get a great start, and if they can score early and try and build on that, and especially now with a two-game series, it's a bit different to what happened in the past 2 years, or the past 3 years, sorry, with the two games just being won.
And the other thing, of course, is the Australians have really only been together for 3 days. They've come together late. Chris Scott was just saying he wanted to preserve the players' holidays as much as they can. And once they got here, he was really keen to get them all together and get right into it. So you're right, it may take a little bit of time to acclimatise themselves. But look, these guys, professionals, are expecting a big result from them.
Tyke, you talked about that familiarity with the round ball. Last time, 2015, Ireland were out by 21 points at half-time. But the Aussies came home really, really quickly, and the Irish just got in by 4 points.
Yeah, and that's what will happen again, I'm sure. But the difference this time is the system of the game that's being played right now in AFL with the press up and playing in front. Gaelic football's played like the flood was played in the game of AFL, would say 15 years ago, where you go back and flood your defence. So the players are not used to actually players coming in their face, putting the pressure on them, because that's exactly what the Australian boys are going to do.
South Australian football legend Neil Kearney to toss the coin. A legend of SA football.
Knuckles.
And a pioneer, of course.
Curly, he was one of the galahs that went across 1968, I think it was. Well, it's almost 50 years now, and they wore the hats with the feathers of the galahs in them. And Harry Beitzel was critical and all that. Put up $10,000, winner take all. Didn't have the 10,000. Luckily, the Australians won.
Oh, bit shooting. That's a good start. What do you call? What do you want to call? Aiden's called. Tails it is. You're going that way, Sean. Okay. That's fair enough. Let's look, Sean.
So Sean Burgoyne winning the toss against Aidan O'Shea, and the Australians will go to the right of screen. Of course, the other big difference is the ability of the Irish to get the ball into the back of the net and score the 6-pointers. We've seen time and time again, Tig, that has been the real key for the Irish teams when they've been able to win.
You're right, Basil, because the scoring averages of both teams over the 40 test that's been played, Australia averaging 57, Ireland averaging 57, Australia averaging 53. So that's not a whole lot if you're talking about overs for 3 and the unders being a 6. So generally there's only 2 or 3 unders that are scored in a game, and the Irish are used to going for that goal and that under when they see an opportunity. It is the big difference because of the confidence from an attacking perspective, but that's where Australia want to hit them from a defensive perspective.
I'm guessing as well the goalkeeping skills will be much better on the Irish side. We know Brendan Goddard in goals for the Aussies, but look, really hasn't had a whole lot of experience. He would have been fast-tracked over the last couple of days, but nothing like we know from the Irish.
Well, Bix, Brendan Goddard said he was the standby keeper in 06 with Dustin Fletcher. We know how good Dustin Fletcher was. Mark Bosnich actually said if Dustin Fletcher wanted to go to England when he was a younger man, he would have been a multi-millionaire playing in the EPL. So Goddard, huge shoes to fill after Dustin had done it for so long and for so well.
So we're ready to go then. Kevin Feely of Ireland, the number 8. He'll go against Paddy Ryder. The 2 Paddies, how appropriate is that? 2 Paddies for Australia against Ireland.
We heard Eddie Betts say to Joel Selwood in the opener, Paddy to Betts, score.
And Aidan O'Shea in there as well. First test, Australia and Ireland for 2017, and Ryder, as you would expect, Dangerfield. Ball just on the deck for Zorko.
Ireland on the ground.
So just pick the ball off the ground. So if you're on the ground, laying on the ground, you actually can't pick the ball off the ground, as we just saw there, free to Ireland.
So O'Shea goes sideways. That was clever. Hanley brings the ball back towards the middle of the ground, and O'Shea already very, very prominent. He's their star. Ball along the deck. Laird took it nicely. Dangerfield Here's Betts back to Dangerfield. Great combination through the middle of the ground. 5. Quick handball. You can hear the count of handballs. Laird backwards. No mark there for Simpson. Zorko down the line.
Zorko looking for Sloan on the home deck, so off the Aussies here, so chance for the Irish to bring it in. Brendan Harrison doing the work there across to Peter Crowley, the man known as a human wrecking ball. There's the keeper, Morgan. So Feely wakes his way up from the centre of the ground.
This is what's a bit different now for the Irish. On a slow play with the Australians pressing right up, and the other end of the ground you can see Brendan Goddard's playing about 40 yards out from goal already. It's very aggressive.
Kevin Feely one-on-one with the smaller man, working his way to the front was Gainey. He's a star in the Irish, but it goes back to Kate Simpson. You can hear the count, 3 handballs. 6 is the maximum before you've got a kick at the skipper, Burgoyne. Back to Simpson. Here's Goddard, little chip, works all right. The Aussies, they're out for the moment.
Zorko then looks upfield. Here's Pendlebury, smooth mover with any shape ball, and Laird down the sideline, over the halfway, goes over the 45 with a kick. Didn't quite get that far. Dangerfield left it behind. Feely, handball out wide. Zach Tui down the line, knows these players so well on both sides. And the ball off Hibberd's boot goes over. So last touch, and it is the opposition's restart. Sludden here. Now he's gone backwards with this kick, so no mark allowed for Crowley. Ball on the deck, and Walsh has it. Clever little kick, that's a beauty.
In range now, you would think this is where the kicking is so good for the Irish.
And this guy is a dead eye really in front of goal. It's Conor McManus. I've put the mocker on him now, but this guy can't kick.
He's been Ireland's top scorer in the last 3 series, 2013, 14 and 15. We mentioned in the opening, Essendon were very impressed by him, had a good look at him. He goes the over and scores the opening points of this international rules test match for 2017. Ireland are away.
Already we can see the difference in handball and kicking. The Irish are kicking so much more. They've had 19 kicks, 5 handballs. The Aussies are almost 1 for 1.
It's Conor McManus, first score on the board and over for the Irish 3. They go back into attack again. Strong hands too, outstanding work. Michael Murphy, it's a great tandem, Murphy and McManus, Tig.
You talk about Conor McManus being a dead eye, well, you can put this in the book for sure. He's been doing it for a long time for a club and for his country. Obviously in Ireland, Michael Murphy, previous captain. But again, we're seeing the tactic with the kick out. Ireland's advantage, that long kick of 35, 40 metres, very, very effective and clean.
Murphy in his 5th series, and as Ty said, he's just going to put that through. So a couple of overs for the Irish to get things underway.
One of the things about the Aussies, if they press up, they do have some exposure over the back, and that was a turnover there from the Goddard kick in, and they got exposed.
So the kick has to go over the 45. No worries for Goddard there. Plenty of distance on it.
Correct. Australia.
So it's against Hanley. The umpires will point the way that the free kick is going, unlike Australian rules football. Dangerfield back out in the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Knows it so well, knows that man so well. Sloan. And now Pendlebury. Hear the count. Burgoyne's got it. So 1 more allowed. Must be kicked now, and is by Hibberd. It's a short one, not the required 10 metres. Zorko goes out wide, and Simpson has the ball, a man who won the 2008 Jim Steins medal.
All-Australian vice-captain last year. Sloan goes in short, looking for his man in Betts, and he's got him. The crowd is going to love this. The cold hero on his home deck, the only goal scorer for Australia in that last test in 2015.
Where's Eddie's pocket in this ground?
I think Eddie can have every corner he likes here. Let's have a look. Eddie Betts, does he score for the Aussies to get things underway? Just through for behind.
Great patience from the Australians there. You know, obviously with the 5 handballs and in the 6th one, a little kick that doesn't have to be the distance of 15 to mark, but you're actually retaining possession, which allows obviously the Australians to put themselves in a position going forward with some great patience there.
So Niall Morgan puts the ball on the deck and goes with distance. Big fly at the back. Simpson, he's given away a free kick.
Haven't seen an interchange yet either, Tyke, from either side, so it looks like just coming now, the Irish starting to rotate.
So Hanley with that free kick. It was a high fly from Simpson. Very warm out there. We were out there. We felt it. Crowley now with the ball. Interchange bench, feeling the heat. They'll do some work. Eddie Betts, 5, the running power of the Australians. Back inside. Hibberd's running well here. Goes the long kick, goes for home. It's offline, behind only 2nd score of the afternoon for the Aussies. So 2 overs for Ireland and 2 behinds for Australia.
And this will be the story of the game. Obviously, the opportunities Australia get with the kicking skills, and you'd almost like to see them take a bit more time and hold on to the ball. Because they are stronger and they can absorb the tackle, Australian boys, you'd like to see them absorb it more.
Morgan with the kick, some quick hands too, done beautifully there. There's Pierce Hanley, now with the Gold Coast, going back, working with Noel Grimley, who's just come off the bench. Quick little give from Boak, misses a target. Tackle, come down too. Boak tries to butter up. Here's Tui. Kick is good, just taken off the deck.
Oh, terrific, wasn't it?
Michael Murphy again.
Off his bootlaces for the...
he's a big man, 6'4", you know, so he's not the smallest guy in the world, but great play from Zach Tui coming through the middle.
Well, it's interesting as well because Travis Boak took possession of the ball. You quite often see the Irish tap it on and soccer it on, so they have this will to keep the ball moving, but in Australian rules it's often better to take possession.
The Donegal captain, for the better part of 10 years, has resisted offers to come out and play in the AFL. This time, let's see the curve on the ball. It's got some beautiful bend. Is it enough? Not quite.
And can sing. Oh, my God. Piano man at its best, Michael Murphy.
I think everyone in Ireland can sing, Ty, can't they? They spend so much time down the local with their mates.
Goddard goes with a long ball. Walsh waiting down front and centre, as the Australians would say. It's a very good ball inside. Hanley controlled it beautifully. Not a great kick, but it might be dangerous yet. Getting back and doing well was Tarrant. Gave it to the goalkeeper, and now Hibbert. So really good control from the Australian defenders. The kick for Laird, too much on it. Swooping through is Geeney. Now a chance for McManus. Holding the ball, and it goes the Australians' way. Great tackle.
Look like they're in all sorts of trouble, but here's Fife. Gets a little 1-2 nicely. Little inside out handball. Sloan gets away. The tackle from O'Shea wasn't there. He needed to tackle him. Boak as well, so the Aussies have opened up the ground now, and a chance just to attack nicely. Kick too short, and over the top, a little chipper from Zach Merritt. And he's found Chad Wingard, another man very familiar with this surface here.
Oh, how good Brendan Goddard came off his line. If he didn't make that tackle, that was an under for sure, a 6-pointer. And now this is interesting, watching Wingard here, whether he'll fade with the kick.
Gone with the, a little outside, check side banana with a round ball. Effective, and the Aussies get... What is their first over?
That's the hardest style of kick with the round ball. But you're just going back to the moment here, Brendan Goddard. His ability to come off and play almost like a fullback or a back, playing the game of AFL football. Great moment, but great kick from Wingard.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? Here's Sweeney, controls the ball down the line. Hibbert couldn't mark Goddard again off his line to support. He's been quite brilliant, the Australian goalkeeper, to start this match off. Danger here. Boak had it, lost it, got it back again. And Hibbert, who's been in everything, been really damaging. Boak again, got it from Sloan. And now the ball is with Simpson. Now must get rid of it quickly. Laird. So restart here because of the kick, of course, and Merritt. Got a whistle.
Okay, number 2, hold it. Okay, number 2, hold it.
I was just watching a couple of matchups inside Betts and Wingard. Both of them being very tightly marked, and there was a bit of holding both ways.
Yeah, you're going through.
And Australia with the free kick, in actual fact, Dangerfield now. So a little bit further up the ground. I was watching a bit closer to goal. So this will be a test for Patrick. Spoke to him during the week. He said he was just struggling a little bit with the ball.
Series number 4 for Danger, and he goes low for an over and gets it through. So the Aussies starting to find their range now. They're taking the lead out by a point.
What I love there with Dangerfield and the quality of the footballer, he looked like he was going to do something like it was an AFL drop punt, and then he's gone, hang on a second, I'm playing international as a wrong ball. Got a bit closer to the man of the mark and just took one step around the corner.
Rory Sloan has just come off for a breather for the Aussies. He's got the headset on, and we can chat to Rory now. Rory, welcome. It's a very fast tempo. It's noticeable from up here, and I'm sure down there.
Yeah, I'm certainly sucking these few breaths in with the little time you get on the bench, but oh, what a sport. It's so exciting. I know there's a good crowd out here. We're all looking forward to playing. This is exactly why.
Rory, Ty Kennelly, how hot is it? Is it actually that breathtaking?
It's warm. It's not. If that sun came out, it'll certainly go up another notch, but it's just beautiful at the moment. Beautiful Adelaide weather.
Hey, Rory, a couple of boys, the ball slipped through their hands. Is there a bit of sweat on the ball, is there?
A little bit, but I was speaking to a couple of the Irish boys, and they reckon it gets a bit stickier with the sweat, so it's no excuse.
Here we go for the Irish. Murphy has given it over the top, running in with a little clever kick. He just missed. There, he was just trying to get there was Conor McManus. Golden opportunity.
Interesting decision from Brendan Goddard. He had to make a decision whether to come with Murphy or not, and he decided not to, which allowed him to actually get the ball and come forward and attack. So Look so dangerous the Irish are with a fast ball as we see here.
Now, thanks to Rory Sloane for donning the microphone. Here's Murphy, who has been dangerous already for the Irish.
I think they're pressing too far up.
Yep.
You know, as far as they've got to still be a bit closer to their opponent on the last line. They're pressing too far up the ground, which Irish can't kick it 30, 45 metres accurately.
Who said Paddy Dangerfield has no fans left here in Adelaide? Saw him there with one of them.
Yeah, you're right, Ty.
Over.
What's happening is, of course, they're giving the Irish the easy, uncontested mark within shooting range. They're just going back and picking them off.
So the over counts and Ireland back in front, 11-8. Great game, high tempo, fast. We love it.
Well, the Aussies would have done some scouting. They know all about Michael Murphy, and they're learning a lot more about him because he's familiarising themselves with these Aussies again. Quick little chip around the corner came from Zach Merritt. So the Aussies out. Hibberd with 9 touches so far leads all comers on the ground. Little chip inside now. The lead coming forward through the hands. Picked up beautifully by Gary Brandon. Here we go. Chance at a goal. Great save by Morgan, but another kick. Through from behind. The Aussies finding their range beautifully now.
Well, it was exciting. We talked about the difference in goalkeeping technique. That was really well done by the keeper from Ireland. Made himself large, got down low and stopped a 6-pointer.
Well, Bix, that was Eddie Betts, of course. It was very close there. Wednesday night, he actually went out with the local Gaelic competition and played some 7-a-side just to get a little bit of a feel, but he's started electrically.
And Niall Morgan again thumps the ball long. He's got great control. Zach Merritt wins the free kick. He didn't have the ball in his hands then. No mucking around, gives it to Hibberd. Hibberd moves it to Fife, gets it back. The old 1-2, Nat Fife, the Brownlow medalist. Now Gunston. He feigned the handball. High ball. Is it online? Or behind only. And it's just a point the difference. Eddie Betts scored Australia's only 6-pointer in the last match, as Soda's told us, in 2015. He also scored a goal in the second test of 2013. He hit the back of the net. So maybe he's the one. And I'm sure if he gets inside that area, he'll have back of the net in his mind.
Chance for the Irish. Tui to Walsh. Good turn of speed, has a bounce, and he's got a runner on the outside. Have a look at that, outstanding skills, and it's fallen magnificently onto the chest of Paul Gainey.
Another guy, Shane Walsh, actually kicked that ball. Had a lot of offers to come out. Decided not to, a young lad from Galway. But again, we're seeing the impact of the kick out from Ireland. Gormley's able to kick that ball, the bounce is 60 metres off the ground.
Gainey, Corey's #1 scorer for 2017. Well, that is just blazed away side of the boot. Here's Hibberd again. Gets things moving quickly. Looking for a 1-2, but working his way through there. Okay was Pendlebury. So the Aussies get another chance to build. Quick give along the ground. Fife with a 1-2.
Downfield, I think it's against Killian Clark. That's what you were talking about beforehand. Mark with the two boys, a bit of a scuffle on the sideline also. It's good to see, you know, blokes are quite passionate and competitive, and they're playing for your country, and that's what you want to see. They talk about physicality being out of the game. Both games are still physical.
Skipper Aidan O'Shea there, #24. The Aussies really targeted him last time too. Tyke a couple of goals late in that test in 2015, but he was under enormous pressure early. Kick now from Wingard, just steers it through for an over, so the Aussies back in front by 2 points.
Well, already, Mark Bickley, we've seen Chad Wingard's skill with that round ball. That was a good finish, but the one previous, when he effectively went the banana kick with the outside of the boot with the round ball.
Well, he just showed he can do it both ways, so he's got one from each side for the left footer.
Michael Hibberd, by the way, up to 12 disposals. He's been electric. Heard the call from umpire Deegan now. Play has been allowed to go on, so Hanley sinks the slipper into it. Gunston tracking it back, dangerous now, close to the goal line. Did it nicely. Luke Shuey loves this ground, I'm sure. First time he's back since that after the goal in extra time winner against Port Adelaide in the elimination final. Not a great ball down low for Jeddah, but well done, Gunston. They've controlled it okay. And Pendlebury towards halfway. Kick now down towards Nat Fife. One hand, what a take.
Outstanding skills, plucked it out of the sky. Fife goes quickly, trying to get things moving over the top. Wingard, here goes big Benny Brown, swung around in the tackle. Sloane Little backhander towards Wingard. Clever, there's an open net. Irish defence stands up well. Back just sitting under it, having to bide his time is Burgoyne, the skipper. Here we go. Australia again, load up from half forward. Pendlebury drops it short. Betts was his target. Lots of pressure from Brenton Harrison on Betts there. Another go. Boak gives it over. Here's Shuey. Gets his way around. Back to Boak. Let's go high and wide. Through from behind.
Just the difference in composure. Ireland always looking to try and find a mark inside 50 in a set shot. A lot of the Australian shots have been under pressure and on the run. So just see if they adjust in the second quarter.
And clearly two tactics, two games are very different. The Australians are willing to take the tackle and use their hands and get the ball in so close to goals. The Irish are willing to have, like you said, an uncontested mark and willing to have a pass from 30, 40 metres out to hit their target deep inside.
So 3-5, plays 3-2 again. Morgan off the ground, storming through his Barrett. His debut test match, gets it off quickly. Sludden now, goes the over. It's offline and a behind only, so the gap closes again. Australia's lead is 2 points and the ball in the hands of the Australian goalkeeper.
Haven't quite got this right so far with Brendan Goddard kicking out. I just think they need to see if they can get a few more numbers around the fall of the ball.
High tackle. No.
Free kick is going to go.
Not sure which way he's wanted. Morris Deegan, Irish ref. It's
middle of the ground. Burgoyne gives it off here. Here's a chance now for Rory Laird. Oh! Have a look at that at the Adelaide Oval. That would be fitting here in the Ashes day-nighter that is not far away. But look at the outstanding skill of Chad Wingard.
This is remarkable. That is, what's that, second slip, maybe Gully. He's gone away to his left, just grabbed it. We talked about the ball being slippery, not there for Chad Wingard.
Here he goes again with that inside-out kick and over the top, Niall Morgan. Anything you can do, Chad, I can have a crack too, and he's off. He's dynamic too from the back line.
What a fine take too. So Ireland right in play here. Clark, long ball down towards the attacking zone, and the mark's taken by McManus.
What a great passage of play from both sets of teams. Obviously saw Wingard in the moment there from Gormley to get the ball aggressively through the middle of the ground.
It's that speed of ball movement, though, from the Irish. They kept it on the body, the length of the ground. There we go. Look at that.
Are you shooting through?
And he plays a lot of his football in goals, but plays a lot of it for his club outfield. You can see that his ability to play on in Gaelic football.
So McManus on the siren to put Ireland back in front, and he's done it. What a great opening quarter. Terrific spirit from both sides. Very fast game. The skills have been excellent. The Australians mastering quickly the round ball. But it is Ireland in front at quarter time in the first test match for 2017. 4-3-15. Australia 3-5-14. Ireland up by a point. A little bit of niggle, but lots of pace. Michael Hibbert getting plenty of the football. 13 disposals for him. It is Ireland with a 1-point lead at quarter time. Wingard's been a star for the Australians. And Ross Lyon, the assistant coach, is wearing the headset. You can see Chris Scott on screen. Ross, good afternoon to you. A lot of extra possessions for the Australians, 58 more than Ireland. Is that part of the plan?
Yeah, it is. The skill level, the kicking the ball, we'd like to run and use our outnumber. They're sitting back waiting for us to kick it in. So we want to run at them, get in a dangerous spot and make them defend. So we're doing it reasonably well. And they leave some forwards deep, so we like to play it in front, but we just overplayed that and they got over the back a little bit.
Rossi Tyke here, mate. What are you happy with?
Well, I think our building the ball up's been fine. You know, their efficiency hurt us early, but we've run at them pretty strong. We've hit some lead ups in the box, so that's been good. Their kick-ins have been getting through, so we just pulled everyone back a little bit, a bit more support from defence because they've been getting through there.
Ross, thanks so much for joining us.
No worries,
wonderful
lads.
access there for Channel 7 there from the Australian team, and a 1-point lead by the Irish. Just a seesawing contest to get things underway. Aidan O'Shea, the skipper, under pressure from Paddy Ryder, just playing it off the deck at the moment.
Just an interesting note I've just noticed, sorry Mark, is obviously the concern with Murphy. Looks like they're putting Robbie Tarrant on him as a genuine full-back now with his size down deep for Australia.
Robbie Tarrant drafted into this lineup as a tall defender late. Of course, the best and fairest from the Kangaroos as Ireland work their way up. This is Walsh, the only representative from the county of Galway. Goes forward with a low flat kick over the head of Sloan. Nicely taken by Gainey. Chip in forward is good too. Found some space in. Goes forward too. That's a goal. That is a magnificent effort by Michael Murphy. That man, absolutely outstanding. The handball coming from Pierce Hanley.
It's against...
Eddie, Paul. Eddie, Paul. Lads, Eddie, Paul. Just sit down. All right, good lad.
And we've seen an example of speed of ball movement again from Ireland straight through the middle of the ground. Robbie Tarrant had no choice but to come in on the man, and obviously allowed Murphy over the back. Great finish, and that's exactly what he can do in front of goals.
Murphy with 13 of Ireland's 21 points off his own boots. So one in the back of the net, 2 overs and a behind. They're looking really good. Here's O'Shea, drives the ball long. It's a really long ball. Is it still inside the field? McManus's mark has been paid.
Michael Hibbert not too happy. He thought it was over the line.
Irish umpire or Irish heritage somewhere? Or linesman, sorry.
This would be a fine kick from there. McManus bending it back. It's another over, and Ireland have hit their straps now. They're out to a 10-point lead. What about that kick from out there on the sideline?
Yeah, well, it's amazing. And tell you what Australia are doing. They're getting caught 10 metres in front. They're underestimating the distance that the Irish can kick. So just wonder whether they might adjust slightly.
Just a point from Slutton. Outside of that, all the scores for the Irish coming from McManus and Murphy. And talked before the game about how important both of them are, and they've just been an outstanding touch to get things underway. As
it's an interesting ploy, what we don't see in AFL anymore with our full forward staying inside 50 basically. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just holding the two of them deep inside the box.
O'Shea, the skipper, under enormous pressure. Comes in there, quick little give over the top. Kevin Feely gives it to Gainey, who's really asserting himself on this game, looking for Murphy again, and he's been worn closely there by Robbie Tarrant. He's going to have a big job, Tarrant, now trying to calm that man down.
Goalie's ball.
So just a bit of confusion, yeah, Baz. It just went behind the in-line, so if it goes behind the in-line at all, it goes back to the goalkeeper for a kick out.
Now you can put the ball on the deck here, Tyke, or kick by foot.
It's hard enough to play that position. I think in goals for an Australian footballer, let put the ball on the ground. Brendan Goddard would be struggling with it, but we see it on the other side, obviously, with Gormley being able to put it on the ground and kick it 60 metres.
That half volley got away from Nat Fyfe, so Walsh it will be to bring the ball back in. Look at the disposals in the second term. Just one touch for the Aussies, 24 for Ireland, and a big pack there, bottom of it, Tarrant. The ball just got away from Wingard. Now the Australians get it up to Simpson. Heard the count. Comes back again. That was nicely done by Merritt a couple of times there. Eddie Betts, dangerous, trying to scoop it up, but coming the other way, brilliantly done by Zach Tui. Takes them on. Ryder was right there and got him.
Great chase from the big man. Thought he could run away from him, Zach Tui. Now Paddy Ryder gets himself involved.
Yeah, he's having a go. Hold it there, Zach. I've got it now, mate.
Port Adelaide best and
okay.
fairest.
Thanks,
All Australian had a fantastic season in 2017. Paddy Ryder with a crack at an over and misses absolutely everything. So Niall Morgan had a chance to bring him from the end line. Have a look at Zach Tui. Just outstanding working through, but the chase down was brilliant.
Yeah, great chase and a great part of the game, obviously, of AFL football, but there's a clear example of the difference of the skill levels. We see one in Conor McManus is kicking it from the sideline, and of course, obviously, but they'll adjust in the game. It goes on. The Australian boys get more comfortable with it.
And the difference in the way the goalkeepers bring the ball back. Zorko just got away from him. So now Ireland at the other end able to counter-attack Simpson. It was off the deck by Murphy. Well read by Pendlebury. Time stands still every time he gets the ball and gets it back from Merritt. Just holding the ball in one hand, out wide for Zorko. Prolific for the Brisbane Lions. Pendlebury kicks on the 5th disposal. And in the end, it just sat up a little high. And Killian Clark making his debut.
just a bit sluggish, Mark, on the Australian boys at the moment. They haven't started the second quarter at all, really.
I think they're struggling where the Irish aren't coming at them. They want to get the overlap with the handball, but the Irish are just staying off them, and it's rattling the Aussies.
Luke Shuey taken high. We've seen that before on this ground not that long ago, and it was, well, painful for Port Adelaide. Dangerfield just taken out over the line.
And it's an interesting tactic that the Irish do actually hold their defenders back, and we see teams do it against Adelaide Crows, obviously, because they don't want to get that slingshot. And again, you've got an object in your hand if you're in Australian football. It's foreign to you. You don't want to kick it because you're not too sure just yet with it. And
the other two things as well, the forwards that their target forwards are Wingard and Betts, who are little fellas. So most likely the best bet is to get it on the ground for those two guys.
Well, Crowley with the kick out wide, and just a little fumble at the crucial time by Carl O'Connor. So opportunity now for Collingwood skipper Pendlebury. Little chip over the top, works well. And around Zorko, they said he can handle the round ball magnificently at training, and he shows it perfectly there with an over.
Just looks so natural with the round ball, doesn't he? The most natural of the Australians, Tig.
Yeah, he does. And you know, we obviously know the exploits he's got with the AFL ball, but he knew straight away once he got that ball, he was going to go for goal.
So Niall Morgan, Irish goalkeeper, puts the ball on the deck. Just a short one. It was, I think, intended for Murphy. Murphy got the ball in his hands eventually, and now the long ball down the line. It's a whistle there. And a little bit of spite. Tui's long ball resulted in this melee.
Zach Tui not happy with Travis Boak. Thought he might have just given him a little bit to go on with in the tackle.
So this should be relatively straightforward for Connor McManus. We've seen him from much further out do amazing things and score the over, and no problems there. So there's Tui's kick. He was dealt with by Boak. Tui didn't like it. He wasn't going to take a backward step, the Irishman, and it was on from there.
Really nice breathing space for the tourists now there. 10 points up as Aussies working through the middle of the ground. Dispossessed, taken down Boak. Quick little give over the top. Some clever little hands came from Jeddah as well. Gunston, late inclusion to Ben Brown, who also came into the side late. And free kick is going to go Australia's way. So here's an opportunity for...
So what's the tactic here, Ty? What are they trying to do? Get it up inside the box?
You're trying to obviously open the space in front of you for this little 20-metre kick, if that short, as he's gone long to the top.
So he's gone backwards, so it wouldn't be a mark, would it? Well, I think he kicked that ball backwards.
I think he kicked it backward too, Baz, so it shouldn't be a mark. And it's interesting now to see if the umpire's actually talking about it. I reckon we might have to check it, because I think he's called it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So Zorko, was a fine mark.
We've seen this rule used in AFL during the pre-season kick back inside 50 or inside 45. It should almost be play on or the mark given when it's kicked backwards, because it's an attacking position.
And to be fair, it wasn't that sort of backwards kick that the rule was brought in for. It was for the short one. That really was a very penetrating kick, but that's the rule. So Paul Murphy down the line. As the mark being taken by Walsh? Not this time, and the Australian crowd much happier with the sideline referee this time. Hibbert up to 14 disposals. Heard the call for play on. Burgoyne, Gunston, Hibbert again. Running towards the 45. Kicks inside the area now. Brown and Zorko couldn't get there. Ireland's lead 10 points. They led by 1 point at quarter time.
Once again, just need that little bit of composure going in with that last kick inside their forward area.
Zach Tui with the kick and some strong hands by Aidan O'Shea, the skipper for Mayo as well, and his kick just has a little too much on it for Paul Murphy. No, the umpire said he's marked it within the line, so Walsh from the 45 goes across.
Just look at the Irish spreading the ball across the field. It's again the foot skills of them.
Crowley to O'Shea, drops a little one in, hasn't gone the distance. Under pressure, terrific tackle. Outstanding work on Sludden, and it's going to be rewarded there, Robbie Tarrant.
That was a fine tackle, wasn't it? So now they set up again. Here's Nat 5. Out wide to the skipper and Burgoyne.
We probably haven't seen enough of it, Baz, from an Australian perspective. If your strength is your physicality, well, you've got to be laying more tackles. It's 4 tackles to 2 in the game itself. The game is very open, it's different, it's not a stoppage game, but you can still put the physical pressure on the Irish.
5 to Laird, bouncing ball for Hibberd. This will be number 16 for the defender from Melbourne. He's playing quite brilliantly. They're setting up a lot through him and Simpson. Gunston now, over halfway, over the 45, but wide.
He could have rolled inside and just used the hands to the middle of the ground. I think it was Rory Laird inside him, and that's probably, again, knowing your limitations with the ball, not you actually get used to it.
Play on.
Chris Barrett back to Morgan, gets his way around Ben Brown pretty comfortably, goes with a long drop kick. Just bumped out of the way there. Some good body work. We're going to head down to Dane Zorko, who is on the bench at the moment. A little bit of heat there on the game we can see. And Dane, it looks like it's just got a little bit cooler.
I don't know what you're looking at up there, but it's certainly not the case. I reckon it's probably picked up a degree or two, just the intensity of the game as well.
Then Ty Kennelly, how are you going with the wrong ball? You looked like an absolute natural.
Yeah, look, we do a little bit of soccer and stuff at the club just to change it up a little bit, so I actually feel quite comfortable with the soccer ball. But you just got to know your limitations and try not to boot the cover off it. I think that's the key.
Dane, it's so hard inside 50. It looks like you're struggling to find a free player in there. How are you trying to create that space?
Yeah, well, the pressure's very hot, up the ground especially. So we want to lower the eyes and try and hit a short and really take our time to kick the over.
Hey, Dane, another fine season for the Brisbane Lions. Congratulations and well done on your first cap for Australia. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, Dane Zorko, he's handled it very well. He played it down a little, didn't he? But he knows this round ball very well.
Clearly couldn't pick up the fact the temperature's gone from 33 to 31. Baz wouldn't make one little bit of change at all for him.
Weatherman for Channel 7.
Niall
John
Morgan
after football.
off the deck.
2.
So you hear the count.
15.
Ends up with Merritt over halfway.
2 bounces.
So goes to solo. You can only have 2 bounces. That was very clever. Simpson, terrific to 5. And the Brownlow medalist from a couple of seasons ago might go back for the over.
Yeah, I was just watching that. Look, Fife did drift forward as he's about to have a shot.
5 bends it around, and the over is scored. It's back to a 6-point margin.
Well, we mentioned just a minute ago that with Betts and Wingard, often when they went in there, they kicked it in high, and they just weren't getting the contest they wanted. I wonder whether someone like a 5 for Dangerfield or someone a bit more explosive with a bit more size might go down there, and Fife's done that.
Move it on, Niall.
Big discrepancy still in that possession count, despite Ireland's start to this term, 168-103 in favour of the Aussies as Morgan goes out wide. O'Shea, strong hands. Had some interest from the Western Bulldogs back in 09. Spent a couple of weeks at Whitten Oval trialling, but went back to Ireland. Barrett tries to work his way through.
3-1.
Gets away from the tackle from Pendlebury.
One hand.
Yeah, if you're not allowed to grab the jersey and pull it off the body, so you've got to tackle them. Wasn't able to do that.
Turnover from Barrett. Sloan chips in well. Brown over the top. Here goes Rory Sloan. Into attack, Eddie Betts, one-on-one with a chance. Betts, just some clever work between the leg two, but the pressure from the Irish defence, Cadigan with it, absolutely outstanding.
Cadigan mops up, out wide, here's Walsh. He's got Burgoyne closing, oh look at that skill. Brilliant evasive move, and then the kick down the line, but Pendlebury, superb. Dangerfield, Simpson, one bounce. He's got 5, all Merritt in support, goes the over. A behind only. So the margin back to 5 points. First 10 minutes or so of this quarter belong to the Irish, but the Australians have just pegged them back again.
Yeah, they have, and just interesting watching Eddie Betts. I tell you what the Irish have been great at. They've been great at getting the extra number in. Betts, we know, one-on-one is outstanding, but a couple of times it's gone to him. He's been 1-on-2, and that last time 1-on-3.
Morgan again off the deck, not quite where he wanted it to go, and Dangerfield marking in front of Grimley. Simpson again, his run off half-back has been superb. Fife's been busy in this term. Along the ground, Wingard, great pick up. Fife again, has he got his eyes on the back of the net? He goes over and scores the 3-pointer. Nat Fife having a bit of a purple patch.
Yep, starting to put some influence on this game. He's kicked the last 2 overs for the Aussies. Look at that strength, just brushed off the tackle. Just for a second, I thought he might have been going for the top of the net, but no, went about a metre over the crossbar.
And it's a great tactic from the Australians, where they're actually playing a lot deeper and closer towards their own goals, because the Irish defenders are playing back shoulder, so it's allowing you to have the space in front, and you can just pop the ball in front to allow your teammate to run in front.
Tig, we often talk about the Irish players that would be well suited to AFL. Well, I reckon in Dangerfield and Fife, we've seen some Aussie players who would be so well suited to the Gaelic game back home.
And you're spot on, Baz, because you know what? They're athletes and they're competitors, but they've got this ability, obviously, no matter what sport they're playing, they want to be the best, and that's why they're the best of their own game.
Gunston, Jetta, here's Dangerfield again. 2 bounces, must dispose of it now, goes backwards to Merritt. Hibbert again, disposal number 18, and Brown, big lead, couldn't mark, ball on the deck, Wingard. It was smothered. That was a very desperate lunge across from that man. So well done. Here's the leap from Brown. Just not quite, and then the smother, that was brilliant by Killian Clark. Just got his fingertips to it.
So the ball now here, Baz, once it goes behind from a smother, actually comes back out to the 45-metre line to the opposition. It's almost like a corner, we'll say, in soccer, but they don't go to the corner. In this game, they go back out to the 45, where I think it's Travis Boakes having the kick. Oh, Hibbert, sorry, is having the kick.
So remembering 18-minute quarters, so just a couple of minutes, less than a couple of minutes to go now. The Aussies, Brown on the lead, marks on his chest.
They say it's suited to a small man, but he looks dangerous, doesn't he, the big fella?
Well, he does, and they put it up to a dangerous spot. And one thing we do know, he can run and jump at it.
Not sure about the kicking, though. We watched him in the warm-up. This is no certainty. No worries at all.
Never in doubt.
And Australia, from 10 points down, are back in front.
From Iceland to the Adelaide Oval in under a week. How about that? It was a late call-up. There you see, it was a clever kick. It wasn't too deep. Just allowed Brown to run and jump at it. We saw the last one. Wasn't able to hold on to it. That one there, no problems, and finished beautifully.
No different, really, is it, to AFL? That kick, just putting it up to the top of the scoring area. The three-quarter kick, Shuey bursting away, keeps it low. The goalkeeper, Morgan, controlled it well. Now gets around Wingard, gives the ball to Crowley. On the ball goes. Tough one through the middle. Clark controlled it nicely. Murphy, they keep going through Tui. Now an opportunity for O'Connell, moving it to their star O'Shea. Ball on the deck. Okay from Hanley. Back to O'Shea. Goddard's got some work to do here, but easy mop up and on his chest to relieve the pressure. So 20 seconds to go. Jetta with a bit more work than he hoped for. Tarrant back from Goddard. Now Gunston. 1 point ball game. We're set up, aren't we? It's been fantastic. Here's Jetta.
Hold there. Hold, thank you. Play on.
Simpson down the line. Burgoyne back towards the middle. Clever kick for Sloane. And now the run of Dangerfield. Puts the ball low. No mark. Brown's a chance here. Getting there quickly, though. Well done by Harrison. He mopped up his own little deft touch. Cadogan tackled.
Yeah, Zorko just had hold of his Guernseys before he took the ball. When you pull the jersey, you can see that there. That's an illegal tackle. You've got to use your arms to wrap it up.
It comes out wide. Here's Feely. Well done by Murphy. Siren sounds as O'Shea puts the ball towards the middle. So a 1 point lead for Ireland at quarter time, 4-3 to 3-5. And Australia have got the lead back. 1 6-pointer for the Irish. 6 overs and 3 behinds for a total of 27. And for the Australians, no 6-pointers, 7 overs and 7 behinds, 28. They lead by a point. Let's get down to Mark Soderstrom.
Well, Nat, came back nicely. They opened up a pretty good lead, but you feel you worked away in really good?
It's a bit of an arm wrestle out here. You can see their skills on show. When they get the ball with a bit of free space, they really penetrate and go through and score quickly. But I thought our boys worked their way into the quarter, and to go into half-time, I think we're 1 point up. It's a pretty good result.
They're trying to put plenty of pressure on, but you seem to be responding quite well.
Yeah, we're used to that pressure game. Ross Lyon coached defence as well, so there's a lot of squeeze around the ball carrier, but they're fleet of foot, they're really quick, so we've got to get after them again.
Talk so much about the shape of the ball and how tough it is, but you look like you've adapted to that well as also.
Yeah, I think there's a few horrendous kicks here and there. That's always going to happen with this shape ball, but generally the skill level of the Aussie boys has been pretty good, I think.
Well, good on you, Nat. You've got a nice little 1 point buffer going into half-time. Go and get some rest.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Couldn't be any better, really. Ireland by 1 point at quarter time, Australia by a point at half time in the first test match of the 2017 International Rules Series. There's been some stars out there. Hibbert and Simpson, terrific off half-back for the Australians. And the Irish, well, they know how to get the ball and they know how to use it. Murphy with a goal in the back of the net. I'm with Ty Connelly and Mark Bickley. And, well, the numbers tell the story a little bit. Contrasting styles for the Australian and Irish sides.
Yeah, very much so. You can see, obviously, with the handballing that the Australians are doing, trying to get the ball as close to goals as possible. And you're seeing the Irish boys with their foot skills, being able to spray the ball from one end of the field to the next. And they're so direct by foot that it's helping that they can keep their two deep forwards in Murphy and McManus.
Big Snap 5, really efficient. We saw him dominate there for a 10-minute patch in that second term.
Yeah, the back half of the second quarter was a pivotal move, actually. He pushed closer to goal and ended up with 2 overs, which was fantastic. And I just thought that Australia were a little bit short up there with Wingard, and Betts not really having an influence. When he went down there, just gave it that bigger, stronger body, and he was able to have an impact on the scoreboard.
What about Michael Murphy for Ireland? 8 disposals, the goal in the back of the net, and they're so valuable, aren't they?
There is. Look, his ability to actually use the ball and show for space, as they say at home in Ireland, obviously that he's got such a presence in ball, and they're playing it direct to him, nice and long, and he's a big, strong man, and these opponents like this, he'll wrap this up all day and put it over it, because he is a dead eye, like I said, in front of goals, and he's a main man for and has been for a long time.
So not just the goal, but a couple of overs as well. From only 8 disposals, one of the things we've noticed how efficient the Irish can be and how their conversion rate is very strong.
Yeah, and what they've been able to do is, as Ty mentioned during the call, they've held their depth as the forwards. You saw that one there. Pierce Hanley realised there was an opportunity, really quickly got the ball over the top, and that's an important goal, that one. And that was early in the second quarter. They looked like they're going to run away with it, and the Aussies responded really well in the second half of the second quarter.
We shouldn't be surprised, should we? A bit of niggle, Australia and Ireland every time. It means so much, and we saw it bubble away a couple of times.
And so you should. You're playing for your country, and obviously the passion comes through, and both sets of teams are physical. The codes are physical, and that's what you want to see. They're also passionate about playing for their country, and it is a physical game, and it is still quite open, but these moments are going to be part and parcel of international rules.
Yeah, there's no backward steps in this. There's nothing untoward here. There's just both sides saying, no, we're not going to cop that, trying to, I guess, put a bit of physical pressure on there. And Travis Boak and Zach Tui, they would have come across each other at some stage.
Unlike your day, Mark, it would have been a very different game, obviously, the physicality involved now.
Yeah, but that's reasonable, isn't it? I don't think there's anything untoward about that, and we don't want to see too much more than that.
Mark Soderstrom with us in the call upstairs. Right now, though, we find him in the Australian rooms. How is it down there, Soders?
Well, Baz, Chris Scott has just taken the boys into the private room there to have a chat, but they're all pretty composed. Obviously, they shut down that ball that was coming in so quickly to McManus and Murphy. Robbie Tarrant was stationed down there. They drafted him into the team as a tall defender a little bit later in the selection process, and you can see why. So they seem to have got some control there. The Irish team, they had those couple of withdrawals late before the game. Ender Smith and also Niall Murphy with the stomach bug that they had. Pierce Hanley got through, and he looks like he's travelling okay at the moment. But right now, I think the Aussies are feeling pretty composed, Baz, with the way things are going, and that 1 point buffer going nicely after the Irish blew the game open, really, with that 10-point break they had at one stage.
Good on you, Soders. Thank you. The Irish have been in their off-season a little longer than the Australians. Will that have any factor here now in this second half?
I don't think so, although if you look at the game itself, in both quarters, the Irish have started really well, and it looks like they're fatigued and faded out of the game a small bit, so it might play some part.
1 point is the margin in favour of Australia after Ireland led by that margin at quarter time. Second half, not far away. First test, Adelaide Oval, Australia and Ireland, International Rules 2017. International rules half-time in the first test match between Australia and Ireland, and at half-time, terrific to see the kids having a go at the Gaelic game. So the Oz kickers out there and enjoying their moment in the sun. It has to be said, terrific atmosphere around your home ground, Mark Bickley. Well, you didn't play here, but you get the idea.
Yeah, look, it is. It's fantastic. I tell you what, Tyke, the Irish are well supported here. We've seen a lot of groups of Irish there. We're seeing some dress-ups there. We're also hearing a bit of a cheer as the Aussies come back out on the field. So not far away from the start, but it is. I'm guessing the crowd pushing up towards 20,000, I think, at this stage. So we'll see what the official attendance is.
Tiger, another of the players we were really impressed with in that first half was the number 18 for Ireland, Conor McManus. only the 5 disposals, but 4 overs and a behind. So every time he touched the ball, he scored.
And he's just so damaging, as we talked about. They're actually staying deep towards their own goals, and the Australian players are defending in front, and the spaces over the back. But he's actually had one from the sideline. You know, this is as good in any sport around the world. It shows the skill level of this man. And if you give him half a chance, as we know in the past, and also obviously we've seen in the last half of football, that he's going to hurt you. So he's certainly one. If Australia are going to play this aggressive press, I think the last line needs to be some bit close enough to the Irish two in McManus and Murphy.
Just looking at some of the numbers there on the screen, we're looking at the much more disposal conscious Australians. They've had over 200 to the Irish 135, I think it was, and also had the ball inside 50 a bit more. But we know the Irish, when they've gone in, they've been really efficient. So that's the challenge for the Australians, try and limit the damage going in. And I thought in the second half of the second quarter, a lot of the kick-outs from the goalkeeper, they actually defended that really well, and they didn't let the Irish get into their own forward half. So that was something, the adjustment they made after being a little bit sloppy early on in that quarter.
Talked about the team captains that are in the Australian lineup, and the fact that the skipper, Sean Burgoyne, is not one of them. Interesting that Nat Fyfe seemed to be barking the instructions in that huddle just before the break.
Now, I wouldn't have thought leadership would be an issue with this side. As you mentioned, 4 team captains. You've also got, Joel Selwood not playing, so there's 3. You've got Dangerfield. You've also got, who was the other player we mentioned? Anyway, there's lots of them. Rory Sloane is another one. Pendlebury, all those leaders out there. So, yeah, look, no shortage of guys offering advice, and really the other one is Brendan Goddard, who organises everyone down back.
And Travis Boak, of course, out there, a club captain.
Baz, just looking at the bench, it looks like Australia down to 3 players on the bench, and Ireland have got the 5, so that's going to be a huge factor in the game itself as it goes on in this heat, of course, and the second half of the game, and the conditioning of both sets of players.
Second half, it's the Australians by a point here. Opening test of the series. Gunston at half-back, and we saw him really start to star in that role for Hawthorn in the latter part of the season. Boak, little chip over the top contest. Brown at the back brings it to the front. It was terrific work. Boak again. He's playing some terrific footy to open up this second half. Clearing kick coming out. Goddard way off his line, but he's got into the right place. It bounces fortuitously, and Rory Laird, chance to take Australia out of defence.
Here is the skipper, Burgoyne, across the 45, confronted by Sweeney, got around him easily, and Merritt, who's got a lot of the football, as has this man, Simpson, just keeps winning it. Tarrant, back to Simpson, a bounce, over the halfway, lays it off to Merritt. He has a bounce immediately, drives the ball down the line. It was a tough one, a half volley. Brown comes from behind, gives it to Burgoyne. Burgoyne in towards the area, and Fyfe. Well, he's becoming a problem for the Irish, pushing back. His marking ability is good, and we know his finishing has been strong as well.
Yeah, 2 overs late in the second quarter.
So goes for a third, right over the goal umpire, or rather the goalkeeper's head, which tells us it's an over. So Nat Fyfe puts Australia 4 points up.
Interesting just watching the Aussie forwards. They're being marked really tightly by the Irish defence, but it's been the multiple leads that have been able to get them free.
Morgan, free kick is going to go Ireland's way, and it's the skipper O'Shea. And Tyke, we said he got a bit of attention from the Aussies back in 2015 at Croke Park, and
it's just the elbow to the head, I think, from Ryder. He's up and about now. He's actually just taking a free himself, but it was just a slight elbow.
Not much in that at all. And going forward, Ian Cadigan, who also represented Cork at hurling as well as football. Count on there. Here's O'Shea. He's up, he's right, ready to go on the left foot. Into the corner and out of bounds. So Australia, chance to bring it in.
Here. Just here.
Umpire Matt Stevic, grand final umpire.
Just wait, no, just wait.
In 2017, his 5th grand final AFL All-Australian umpire in 2014, 15, 16 and 17, one of the very best, and he officiated in the 2013 International Rules Series. Off the ground by Crowley, that was clever. Barrett now down the line, chance for Murphy, centres things up. Feely did well. Murphy again, now the ball in the hands of Walsh. He bends it around, but misses everything.
See, the Irish boys not struggling obviously with the ball itself, but very clever from Michael Murphy there. He understood he was actually going to get tackled, turned his back to the pressure and was able to offload the handball to Walsh, who wasn't able to finish it.
4 points. Australia now. Goddard down. Strong hands. That's Kevin Feely. Spent 3 years in the EPL with Charlton Athletic, and then last year decided to make his move back to Gaelic football. Taken to it beautifully, and Chris Barrett off. Little handball over the top. Tackle coming down, but kick is pretty good right over the top, and another over for Ireland. The man that slotted that one through there is Connor Sweeney.
Just running at the heart of the Australian defence again, like you said, Keeley in the middle of the field, taking a great mark and using his strength from a man that played the majority of his sport being soccer.
So the Australians, Luke Shuey marks, back to that 1-point lead, which they enjoyed at half-time. Nearly 4 minutes gone.
2.
Gunston
3.
back for Laird.
4.
They run it well.
Play
Tarrant,
on,
Simpson, here's Burgoyne, gives it back to Simpson, who runs towards the halfways. Held up.
2.
Hibberd has got it from Merritt. Tarrant backwards. The goalkeeper under a little bit of pressure, but he's been good, Goddard. Done everything cleanly. Touch ball, you heard the call, didn't matter. Gets to Burgoyne on the bounce. Carries it beyond halfway. 2 bounces, goes the low flat one. Not the required journey, so Fife's got some work to do. Gave it to Laird. Handball backwards. Nicely done by Gunston and Merritt.
Hibbert again, picking up plenty of the footy. Demon All-Australian. Simpson drops it in short. Here's Shuey, a chance to go over.
Play on.
Into the post, play on. O'Shea under pressure as well. Walsh going off the deck. He's got Brown under his collar there. Leaves it for Shuey. Top of the square. No, he's gone close to the line. Niall Morgan, great save for the Irish. And here's Sean Powder going to it with Barrett and out over the line.
I'm not sure what Luke Shuey was trying to do, whether he was trying to centre it up, but it went awfully close to lobbing the goalkeeper.
He's capable of doing anything on this ground, as we know, Mark. Laird, high ball, dangerous ball. Brown couldn't mark, might get a second attempt here. Wingard, very dangerous in the area. Brown, outside of the boot, dangerous position. Zorko trying to knock it through for a 6-pointer. Coming out the other way, Cadogan got it away, just taken by Murphy. Terrific tackle, Merritt.
Great physicality, and the ball thrown into the hot spot in that box, it looks so dangerous. I'd like to see more of it from the Australians.
Play on over the top, it's gone through, and Michael Hibberd with the over. Enjoying a fantastic game. And there's Beck Goddard on the left of screen there, the victorious coach in the inaugural AFLW season for the Crows. Just doing a little bit of development work in the box with the Aussie team.
To her left, Chris and Brad Scott. Our Irish friends taking this match live, they would think they are seeing double. We had a beer already. Nat Fyfe, his aerial skills have been to the fore in this game, and Burgoyne's run off half back, quite superb. Also the wide one for Eddie. So he hasn't got a pocket here, but he may well have a corner.
Well, he certainly knows where the goals are in all codes.
Turnover from Powder, you're not in the hands of this man, Chad Wingard. We've seen how dangerous can be so far. The 2 overs and the 1 behind. And well, before he went with the inside-out check side type number, this time the traditional around the corner left foot, and looks like he's put it wide just for another behind there for Wingard.
Aussies have looked really dangerous this ever since they put Big Ben Brown on, because he actually gives you a contest in the air. And as you said, Tig, a couple of times it went into the box, it went really deep. Even if he doesn't mark it, you bring it to the ground and it's chaos, and that's when Betts and Wingard can be really dangerous.
It's only 5 points here, the Australians lead, but feels like a really dangerous stage of the game for the Irish. They're running well, their confidence is up. Burgoyne, brilliant to Betts, back to Burgoyne. Fyfe, who has starred, does he go the... Oh! Yes, he does! Nat Fyfe finds the back of the net for Australia. A 6-pointer. Oh, what a moment for the Australians. Nat Fyfe finds the back of the net.
Oh, and didn't they celebrate? They came from everywhere, from the back half. Look at Nat Fyfe. That was beautiful. He read the situation amazingly off the sidebar into the goal.
Suddenly they were 10 points down during the second term. The Aussies, 21-point turnaround. They're up by 11 points. Taking off now with speed, Conor McManus. And his kick isn't over. Back down now to an 8-point ball game.
And you were just saying, Basil, that the dominance and the change of momentum of the game certainly was going towards Australia in the danger part of the game. But you just attacked the heart of the game, heart of the defence of the Irish, Fyfe, and a valuable score there for McManus, just try and get the momentum back for Ireland.
Gunston, Sloan, they're running now, the Australians, and running well. Ryder went with a short one, didn't quite get to its target, so Crowley mopping up, off half-back, a high ball, long one, knocked away from McManus. That was well done. But the last touch was from Australia, so McManus to set it up again.
They're probably going to have a crack here at the outside of the boot, not dissimilar to Wingard with a right foot. This is the most difficult kick you'll ever do in Gaelic football.
5 overs and the one behind for Conor McManus. And just a little skinny with that kick there. So the lead now in favour of the Aussies, down to 7 points. Ireland holding the Conor McAnallen Cup because of their win at Croke Park in 2015. But a 2-test series, of course. Sunday night in Perth will be the second one. The target was Brown. Punch back in, clever little hands from Simpson. The Aussies working well. Dangerfield just with a little casual bounce. Let's Boat go past to provide some support and cover for him. Here's Hibberd. What a game he's enjoying. Back to 6. It's got to be a kick now. Just a nice little stab from Burgoyne. This is Hibberd. Thought about it. Had a couple of goes. Close to the line. Really caught on Niall Morgan to perform. Back for Boat. Aussies chance to reset now.
Merritt, Burgoyne. Played a terrific third quarter. Backwards to Simpson, who had a fantastic first half. 24 disposals now led. Sloan rather taken high. We can go down to Joel Selwood. Joel, how close did you come to playing, and will you be okay for next week in Perth? Good afternoon to you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, no, going well. I mean, I was just a little bit tight. My preparation was a little bit slower than the boys after the season. I sort of got away, and off the back of the ankle injury towards the end of the season, it was a little bit of a limp in, but I'm feeling pretty good with the training, and then I get another week of training into next week, which I look forward to playing.
Joel Tykinelli here. How are the boys feeling at half-time coming in? Obviously, they started the third quarter really well.
Yeah, probably the back end of the second quarter, Ty gave us a lot of confidence in what we were trying to do early in the game, and we're just lucky that the Irish didn't extend their lead, and we were able to hang around there for a while.
Hey, Joel, looks like you've gone a bit deeper this quarter. You're really putting some pressure on the goalface.
Well, we're trying to restructure up there a little bit. I mean, we've got Paddy off at the moment, but Brownie's done a great job, and I mean, our mid-sized players just there again. I mean, he's the smallest one out there, but they've been marking the ball really well. It's really hard to pick up in the air, as Ty's probably told you up there.
Good on you, Joel Selwood. Thanks so much for joining us. Eddie Betts has picked it up off the air beautifully, the small man, and he snuck it through with an over.
And you can hear the crowd singing, Eddie, you know, he's so loved over here. It's great.
Have a look at that. He's got 5 to contend with and a host of green jerseys. And did it magnificently well, the little cold hero here at the Adelaide Oval.
So 10 points to lead for Australia. Morgan off the deck. It didn't go well at all. Cadigan. Scott Crowley there in support, and Clark, in fact. Now Harrison. Back to the goalkeeper, Morgan. High ball, and they're under pressure now. Crowley, his debut test match for Ireland. 27-year-old from County Kerry. Shuey the restart, but not a good kick from him. And Zach Tui mops up. Just on the back foot all the time at the moment, Ty.
Yeah, you talk about the fatigue setting in. It certainly looks like it. That's what's happened in the first 2 quarters also. Australia came into their own after about 10 minutes in each quarter. They started a bit earlier this quarter.
Here's Walsh. Got the handball. The boy from Galway goes inside. Attack from Ireland. Quick little chip over the top. Wonderful work. Gainey was the man, but defence standing up manfully. Goddard has done a terrific job replacing Dustin Fletcher in that spot. Is Merritt. Got it from Dangerfield. Just holds on to it and gives it to Brown up forward.
It's been a clever move, hasn't it, bringing Brown in?
His mobility is the thing that is really found the Irish out in the strange, because he's a giant of a man, but his his movement and multiple leads has just seen him become a really big option for Australia.
And typically not the sort of player that the Australians have played in international rules over the years.
No. Generally it's the smaller players, but Ryder, Tarrant, and Brown in the one team. There's a few questions asked, but he's been great.
1 over to his name, make it 2 now. And it's a 13-point lead for the Australians. That was the smother from Goddard. So his awareness and his sense as a goalkeeper has been quite outstanding.
Generally the best goalkeepers in the game, and especially from an Australian perspective, have been those full backs or players that have been able to read the ball, and his decision to come forward there and gain, the majority of other players in goals would have went back to the goals and trying to defend the shot. He's come forward and laid the tackle, which obviously resulted in the score to Brown.
Quick hands, Ryder and Jetta combined. Dangerfield just casually sends the 5th one back, and little chip kick to Rory Laird. What a season he had. 3rd time in the All-Australian squad, and finally named in the final team is Cade Simpson. Back to Gunston. Doesn't panic, chips it out. He's got Goddard again. So he's going to have a look up, just try and draw the man over the top. He does it well. Kick from Tarrant forward. O'Shea cuts it off. Islander in. Here's an opportunity now. Carl O'Connell in defence.
Mopping up Barrett.
One hand. I thought it was one.
Yeah, just the tackle again. It's the tugging of the jersey. Got a tackle with 2 arms. That was the one hand. Rory Sloane said, I thought it was 2. Matt Stevic said no, it was 1.
So Barrett's kicked backwards here, so the keeper Morgan has to go quickly. Does, and all okay. Brendan Harrison, 25-year-old from County Mayo, on his debut. We heard about the County Mayo curse earlier, and it's heavy-duty stuff as Niall Grimley on his debut got the touch off the Australian, and will get the restart.
Worse than the collywobbles, that Mayo curse, isn't it?
And there's a few Mayo players out there, but it's a great story. Obviously, it's a bit of a mythical story right now, and the curse of Mayo football team, of course, lost 4 All-Irelands in 7 years.
Interesting, isn't it? Dublin defeated Mayo in the All-Ireland final. No Dublin players here, but 3 for Mayo. And Richmond defeated Adelaide in the AFL Grand Final. No Tigers, but 3 Crows. Betts, Sloane and Laird. Tarrant mops up. Here's Jetta.
I can tell you a couple of things, Baz. You want to move on as quick as you can from losing a game of a grand final.
Ty Kennelly knows all about that, knows about winning them too, knows about winning an All-Ireland in 09 and an AFL Premiership in 05, the only man to ever do it. Over the top, here we go, Eddie Betts. Dangerfield to Betts, let's have a look at the little fella. Oh, cut off. Outstanding work. Wingard was the target, but Ireland with Tui a handball over the top were just outstanding in that scenario in defence, and chance to get things moving. Hanley involved. Sludd gives it again. Little chip goes high and through for a point.
You can see when Eddie gets close at all, he wants a goal, he wants an under. See, he wants to actually draw the Irish defender, and fantastic defending from Niall Grimley. Understood and just read the play.
So it's 12 points. Can't let it get too much more than this, the Irish.
Just saw that in the middle of the ground. Rory Laird, I think, was sat on his backside.
Yeah, block off the ball, we heard the referee say. Umpire Matt Stevic. So Rory Laird goes backwards. Jetta, another of the later additions to the squad. Laird kept going. Now Boak sends a high ball inside the attacking zone, and Paddy Ryder out on his chest. Not the first time the Australians have used that tactic. The ball dropping short to the tall leading player.
A little bit of local knowledge there. The skipper to his big man at Port Adelaide. Of course, they know this ground well, and Paddy Ryder doesn't let him down.
Gets the over to go, so it's 15 points the lead, as big as it's been all afternoon. And you wonder now, Ty, can the Irish come back from here?
Yeah, they're going to have to try and stop the momentum, obviously, you know, with a minute or two. They want to hold on to the ball here and try and go in at 3/4 time without the Australian scoring.
O'Connell with the hands in the air. Remember, 18-minute quarters here, so almost into 3/4 time. The Aussies enjoy the lead, and they enjoy the strength of Patrick Dangerfield over the top. Eddie Betts with a little slap for goal on the line. Did it cross the line? It didn't. The Irish have saved themselves there, and Eddie Betts, almost like he did last time, with the hand to put it through, and the ball's going to end out over the end line. I'd love to have a look at that on the replay. It looked like it was dangerously close to going over.
How did it not cross the line?
what I've loved about Eddie, he's actually waited for the goalkeepers. You're watching on the right, but you've seen a bit of Dangerfield getting a bit of attitude, obviously. And good on him again, see some passion. But he waited for the goalkeeper, tried to smash it over the goalkeeper into the goals, which you can't allow. It's a closed fist. Not too sure went over the goal line. That's from an Irish biased man.
No, I think it was the correct call, but once it took that right angle deviation off the upright, you thought this will go over for sure. And Chris Barrett, it was with a trip on Dangerfield, and we saw the argy-bargy. Tui takes the ball. Luke Shuey's error, so a chance late perhaps. Very quickly the ball's with Connor Sweeney on the deck. It was a very swick handball from Murphy. Sweeney has to go backwards off the deck. Good tackle, Shuey. Barrett, and on the siren, the kick comes. Now, will it be allowed? I think it will not. So the kick came from Sludden after the siren, three-quarter time, and it's been a dominant display from the Australians. They stacked on 22 points in that third term, and they restricted Ireland to just 8. So a 1-point lead at halftime becomes a 15-point lead for the Australians with a quarter to play in the first Test match at Adelaide Oval. Three-quarter time, Australia and Ireland, and it is Australia leading by 15 points on a very hot day in Adelaide. Fast start by the Irish. They led it by quarter time by a point. The Aussies, they clicked into gear brilliantly. Wingard was dangerous. A wonderful check side goal with a round ball, if you don't mind. Nat Fyfe happy to throw his weight around and stamp the Australians' aggression on this game. And a wonderful moment from Nat Fyfe. He burst through a couple of overs back-to-back, and then probably the play of the game so far when he kept the ball low and found the back of the net. Didn't he and the Australians absolutely love it? So Australia in a really strong position with a quarter to play. They lead by 15 points. Still hot here in Adelaide. Simpson with 28 disposals, Merritt with 27, and Hibberd with 26. So that half-back and midfield combination has been really good. Brad Scott, of course, North Melbourne coach, Australian assistant coach here. Brad, thanks for your time. It was a great third quarter by your boys.
Yeah, it was. We were really pleased with the way we were able to control the ball and took some shots. But you know, I think the game's really been set up from the back half, and our midfield back half are doing a really good job.
Give us a sense, Brad, of how the players are feeling at the moment. It's been a warm day. They look okay?
Yeah, well, they're in good condition. It's surprising after 8 weeks off, but these guys are professionals. So you know, they've come back in good nick. They're feeling the heat and feeling the physicality, but they're enjoying themselves.
Scotty, a bit of a change of attack. Ty Kennelly here. Just gone to the top of the square with the bigger Brown, even Fyfe at times. Certainly worked in that quarter.
Yeah, and I mean, when you've got the calibre of Wingard and Betts and Zorko at their feet, it's not a bad option for us.
Well, Brad Scott, thanks so much for the access. Going along very nicely. Best of luck for the final term.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
15 points, the lead at the moment, and Ireland, Michael Murphy, again, he's been dangerous all match so far. The 1 goal, 2 overs and a behind.
The ball is so difficult to judge in the air from an Australian perspective, and that's a clear tactic. Obviously, it's working for the Irish when they are launching the ball in long and deep into the forward line.
Murphy goes over. He's a dead-eyed Dick normally in front of them and nails it beautifully.
That's exactly what they would have been looking for, an early score. What they don't want is the Aussies to stay with this comfortable lead. Then they can sort of take the game away from the Irish and wind it down. So the closer they can get, the quicker they can get, they really get themselves into it.
Absolutely, Mark. So a three-pointer or an over inside the first minute and 15 points back to 12. But incorrect disposal there. So Boat, Dangerfield had to get rid of it quickly and did so brilliantly. Sloan blazes away, but he missed everything then.
Pretty confident on the left foot. He's obviously a natural right footer, but had a crack at it, didn't quite work out.
Correction, 1 behind scored by Rory Sloan. So 13 points is the lead, 90 seconds played.
As the sun starts to come out now, this will have an impact in the game, certainly from an Irish perspective, the heat.
2-on-1 in the air. The Aussies win out. Quick little flick back to the skipper, Burgoyne. Fast hands. Simpson bearing it down on 300 games at AFL level, and it's chopped off by the skipper, O'Shea. He's called to go. Not sure where to go, then pops the left foot out. Works nicely to Walsh. Little chipper over the top too, and he's got a lead from Connor McManus, who has been outstanding as well with his 5 overs, we've seen him just kick them from just about anywhere.
Look at his confidence.
Ty, what do you reckon?
The minute he's marked, he's gone, you know what, I'm going to have a crack at this, and he certainly has the ability to score this.
From a long way out, from 45, has he got it on it? Oh, just outstanding kick, isn't he? He's just one of the greats of all time in Gaelic.
100% he is, and coming from County Monaghan, they've had a really successful period in the last 10 years. This is an enormous score, exactly what the Irish team need as far as taking the opportunities. With Australia dominating possession and all that, they've got to take their opportunities.
And that's 9 scores from 10 disposals. So dangerous. Gunston, here's Hibbert. Runs past the 45 towards halfway with 2 bounces. Needs to get rid of it now. There's a loose ball inside for Tui. Mopped up well. Now the run of Walsh through the middle of the ground. Good evasive skills. Puts a low one. It's a bouncing ball. There was no one really there for Ireland. So Hibbert, Simpson's backward kick. You heard the call. Goddard needs to go and does. Tarrant. Goddard keeps coming. Goalkeeper a long way from home. Now he backs back. Not before he gave the ball to Jack Gunston. Burgoyne. Well done, Hibbert. Fife breaks the tackle. Burgoyne too many.
Handballs. Yeah, so good pressure by the Irish.
Go down, mate, go down.
Just kept at him, and the Aussies had to get out of trouble with the handball. 1 too many.
Chip in there to
Paul Gay. Yeah, he'll have a ping from here, you'd think. We saw one in the first quarter. He wasn't too good, but this guy from a lovely part of the world in County Kerry, my own homeland.
To get it back to 7 points.
All-star the past couple of years. Gainey, one of the best forwards in Ireland at the moment. Great save. Goddard just standing up. Australia get out of that nicely. Simpson involved in defence. Merritt as well. Little paddle over the top to Merritt again. Got a run of Simpson over the top. Dangerfield back to Simpson. Held on to it, maintained possession. Got some yardage, but the kick not good. And Sloan to see that over the line. Ireland's ball.
Rory, 5 metres, please.
Just watching the replay there. It was a very nasty, awkward one for Goddard. He handled it beautifully, though.
Did he? What?
So they're coming a bit here, Ireland. Tui down the line. Tough one. Bouncing ball. Murphy did well. Now, who was the last touch on? It's Australia's ball. Here's Jeddah. Dances towards the 45. Not a great kick. They come back again, Ireland. Sweeney, the debutant. High ball in. McManus, Goddard. Goddard lost his footing but paddled the ball cleverly off the ground. Now a chance for Paul Murphy. Short one to Gainey. Gainey now with another chance for Ireland to get it back to 7 points. 5 minutes gone in this final term. Kick from the 21 is over, and we do have a 7-point game.
A great start to the last quarter. Exactly what Ireland needed. Obviously 3 scores now from 3 important forwards deep. Keep them in the game.
Brown the target through his hands. Chance now for Killian Clark. The half forward working back as Merritt. Little tap forward from Murphy. Held on to it. He's been pinged. It's got to be gone. Terrific tackle. Outstanding work there by Dane Zorko. And the Aussies are off. Tarrant over the top. Opens up Fife.
He'll be dreaming back of the net as well. Gets close to the area. A centering ball. It was a clever kick. Wingard couldn't quite get onto it. Now the run out of defence. O'Connell lost the footy. How about the pickup from Zorko? Australians on the counter-attack. Not quite the mark by Dangerfield. Right there with him, Clark. Dangerfield comes again. Slaps the ball back to the attacking zone. Tui gathers off the deck. Nicely done. O'Connell keeps the ball alive for Ireland. And the kick down the line by Paul Murphy over the line.
Well, Dangerfield now sucking the deep ones in. I reckon he had 4 or 5 different efforts there, and just the pressure by the Aussies caused that error.
Laird looks forward. Nothing on, so just bides his time. Chips up. Brown could not onto it. Fife has been outstanding in front of the sticks today. Free kick's going to go Ireland's way, held without possession, so that'll go against. Zorko giving that away. Ireland going forward. Cut off here now by Rory Laird. He's going to have a busy year next year without his partner in crime, Brodie Smith, in that Adelaide lineup. Fires it back to Tarrant. Into the centre of the ground, chopped off. Jeddah gets his way around nicely. to Merritt.
And Merritt out wide. Shuey. Sloane back to Shuey. Controlled it nicely on the ground. Fife tried to go back to Sloane, but Ireland in here. Gathered by Paul Murphy, and then the quick kick off the ground. It came forward.
Up here, up here.
So a penalty. Slutton takes it. High ball, not quite. Chance for McManus. Just got away from him. And now on the counter-attack again, Simpson, who's been a fine player today for Australia, as has this man, Hibberd. He's well done. Laird got the ball to Fife in trouble. And of course, it started with Sloane in there, so too many again trying to get out of danger. Nat Fife, he handballed the ball away.
Just the last couple of times the Irish have gone forward, they've been outnumbered. They haven't had their players push up there. I just wonder whether this heat is starting to get them, not covering the ground as well as what they were early in the quarter.
And you're looking at the screen, all the disposals obviously leading. Disposal get us all Australian, and it's also the disposal count the way the game's being played with Australia. Ireland want to defend the back 50 and Australia defending their front 50.
Long kick forward, Goddard with the hands, and look at that possession count. 352 touches Australia, 212 Ireland. You can see them racking them up again. Laird combining with Jeddah. Tarrant gives it off. It needs to be a kick now from Gunston. They've had the 6 going back, can't be a mark. Jeddah just tries to draw Walsh. 2 handballs. You hear the count. This is Simpson. Steins medalist in 08 for Australia's best player. Goes to Sloane. Evades his way just to get away from Connor Sweeney. Here go the Irish defensively. Tried the turnover, but Australia okay through Merritt here.
Zach Merritt's been a terrific player as well. 33 disposals, make it 34 now. Sloane and Gunston running hard from the 45. Dangerous ball into the area, and the goal is scored by Shuey. Back of the net, a 6-pointer. They're going to be hard to beat now, the Aussies. Well, it was a dangerous ball coming in. Finish from Shuey, great ball in by Gunston.
Yeah, just looking at that, that's the difference between Goddard. Goddard has come off his line and come forward a number of times. Looked like the Irish keeper was anchored on his line and was in a dangerous spot, and Shuey thought it through beautifully.
Aussies into attack quickly here again, but Rory Sloane, the man that presented from the forward line, and well, that lead out now to 13 points. Just over 10 minutes here. Sloane, he's had a reasonable game, the 15 touches, and he's debut here in the international rules, and around the corner, Sloane misses just from behind.
Of course, Tig, they don't want to let it get away because it's a cumulative score over the 2 test matches, so they want to be, if they can't win, as close to Australia's score as possible.
It certainly hurts the Irish. They started the quarter really well, and they're hitting the scoreboard and bringing that lead back, and that goal hurts, and Morgan would like his time back as a goalkeeper to come forward on that.
So Fife, long handball. Simpson trying to run onto it. Last touch was Australia's, so it will be Ireland's ball from just in front of the Australian sideline gathering. O'Shea started promisingly, but he's been quieter since, trying to get back that way. Feely coughs it up. Dangerfield got it from Shuey. Clever ball to Zorko.
Well, he's the man we've all heard about with his kicking skills, so this is a nice one for Australia. A composed kick by Dangerfield just sets Zorko up, gives his teammates a chance to suck some breath in while he goes back and converts.
For the biggest lead of the afternoon for Australia, the kick is bang on. 17 points Australia's lead. A second over for Dane Zorko, the Brisbane champ.
So it's very interesting from an Australian perspective, tactic perspective, as far as, well, do they keep going and try and gain up more score points, or do you actually settle on what you've got and defend it from here?
Taken by Gainey, but the umpire called play on there. The advantage paid to the Irish. So this is Sweeney, lead. Murphy, been terrific, gives it to McManus, his partner in crime. He doesn't often miss, McManus, and is another example of his fantastic work in front of the stick. So at 7 overs, 3 behinds for Conor McManus.
21 from overs and those 3 behinds as well. So what's that now? 10 scores from 11 disposals.
You just keep himself and Murphy in there. And Mark was going on about before, saying that when Ireland were going forward deep, that there was no one in there because the tactic of Murphy and McManus weren't in there. As we're looking at the screen right now, the ball's going in long into him.
Tui's ball taken by Murphy. Gets the over. That's a fine finish. Really good stuff. And Australia's lead back to a manageable 11 points for Ireland. Have they got enough run in them? Here they come again down the line.
Laird, little one, and the chip kick goes up. Betts is the target, but under pressure there from Harrison. Knocks it over towards Killian Clark, and Betts still providing enormous amounts of pressure. Gets it. Clark trying to use his footwork, and the umpire's going to pay a free kick. Cade Simpson has been outstanding. He's had 37 touches. There he is there. He's spent some time on a knock there to the right shin, and the umpire intervening here, and we're going to see a chance for little Eddie Betts. Well,
here we go.
Here we go.
Well, that's his pocket over there. He worried his opponent out of that, though. Just kept harassing. The pressure was amazing, and now he's having a shot for goal.
1 over and 1 behind for Eddie. Just chips it up into the danger zone. Strong hands by Fife. He's been a star up forward in that Fife. He's already a goal scorer. Had the 3 overs. Really helped Australia come back into that second term. And look at Eddie, just casually knows where he wants to put it. Strong hands from Fife.
That looked like a set play, didn't it, by the Australians?
He missed it.
And we're seeing a glimpse, really, I think, of how Fremantle might be setting up to play Fife in 2018. That's the role that many think he can play for Freo. Midfielder that pushes forward, and his marking ability is so good.
Certainly, it's obviously the tricky one for Ross Lyon and Fremantle as far as leaving in deep and his value. We saw it with Dangerfield and Geelong this year, and how Dangerfield in that final against Sydney was fantastic forward. Certainly a tactic you'd think they'd be using a lot more.
Killian Clark, long ball, Murphy at the back, hooked up by McManus. Oh! Murphy not quite. The defence did well, gave him enough to think about.
He's tried the lob, McManus, and I think it was Rory Laird, was it, that actually punched it over. It was fantastic defending.
Still, the over count, so 11 points again is the lead, and they can mop up again here through Walsh. Handball towards the middle, and Paul Murphy. Clark couldn't get it away cleanly. Here's Merritt. Low ball, very good ball, and the mark taken by Wingard. Just on the 45 when he kicks, he goes down towards Merritt. He's run hard, Zach Merritt. Burgoyne, the skipper. Just holds onto the footy, 1 bounce. Eddie Betts, fine mark. Inside the 13-metre area.
He's a star, isn't he? His ability there, he's on the lead, and he's just stopped and checked his opponent, Crowley. Great football.
So he's going to go the over. Thought he might play on and see if he couldn't get into the area and score, but just a behind only.
Just let him off the hook a little bit, the Aussies. Nat Fife and now Eddie Betts both missed really kickable kicks, but Betts has been amazing because he's been well held pretty much for 3 quarters, but his work rate has been outstanding and making some opportunities late.
One of you will look silly if I play a free like that.
So Aidan O'Shea with the ball on the halfway. So 2 6-pointers to level it up for Ireland. That's how they'll have to be thinking. And the ball's in a good area for them here. That went over the line. They'll get it back. So here's a chance.
Yeah, so this is a 45. So if the ball goes out over line from your obviously opposition team behind the goal line, the point post, it comes back to the 45-metre line. And Ireland looking obviously for a goal kicker to have a crack at this or pop it to the top of the square. Zach too, he's got a big leg, Zach, so he can make the distance.
So
he's going to put it down on the ground, so he's got a choice to put it on the ground or out of his hands, and it looks like he's going to put it on the ground. And I've seen Zach kick these balls off the ground, and he can do this.
It's interesting, the Irish team are really outnumbered there. I wonder if they might want to push a few more players forward, because if it doesn't make the distance, they're going to be outnumbered by the Aussies.
I think Dangerfield's pretty close here. He's a chance of smothering this.
So Tui, not a great finish in the end. It's a bit of a nothing kick off the ground, and did not score at all. Now, in other news for Australia, Scott Pendlebury hasn't been on the ground for some time. We believe he's down in the rooms having a finger assessed and may even require an X-ray. So, not great news for Collingwood fans or the Australian team. Meanwhile, Aidan O'Shea, the ball keeps moving forward. Gainey and very cleverly to Connor McManus.
Well, we know he had an issue with his finger during the year, so let's just hope that it's not that a recurrence of that injury.
Looks like Zorko's copped a whack on that hip. McManus for another score. Is it another over? He's bent it around too much. Just to behind. So McManus now 14 disposals and 7 overs, 4 behinds. Attendance today 25,502, which in these warm conditions is terrific, Mark Bickley.
Well, absolutely, and they've made some noise too, and the Irish have been really well represented. I don't think there's too many who would have walked away not enjoying themselves.
Not long to go now. It's 11 points, so really any score here important for Ireland, given it's a 2-test match series and it's a cumulative score time.
So you're going into the second game, obviously 11 points to nil down. At this point in the game, there's not much left, and it's so every little point or every little time is great play here from Goddard. Slowing the game down, he understands the situation, really smart football.
5, he's been terrific. Ball taken away though by Feely. Now they're running hard. Tui. Can they get a score? Clever back heel. Well done by Walsh. How about the take from Walsh? And he scores a behind only. As the siren sounds. What a great exhibition of international rules football. Australia win the first test match. 10 points is their victory. The series goes to Perth with Ireland still alive. And in the end, the 2 goals that Australia were able to score, the difference in the game.
Yeah, and you think the Irish boys would be the ones that be scoring the goals themselves, but it really was the third quarter. Australians dominated the game and really hit the scoreboard, and led by Nate Fife. I thought his ability to actually get on the ball and it was a bit of a difference when he went forward, and some big numbers from an Australian perspective.
Yeah, that third quarter you mentioned, 22 points to the Aussies, just the 8 to the Irish. So there you go, there's the advantage there, 14 points, and that was just a bit more in the end, so well done to the Australians. But tell you what, that was entertaining stuff.
Yeah, and whoever said this is not entertaining to watch, whatever code you thought, it showed facets from both codes as far as Australia's perspective to actually use the football and defend and press forward. Ireland with their kicking ability, and certainly enjoyed it.
So Luke Shuey hit the back of the net for the Australians, and Nat Fife did also, 3 overs and a behind as well. It was a fine display by the Fremantle captain. Our best on ground, I reckon, and he's with Mark Soderstrom.
Well, Nat, congratulations up front. Absolutely fantastic. You had those nice overs in that first half. Then you hit the back of the net.
Yeah, that was a little fluky, but it was nice, and the team fully celebrated that.
Now, Nat, obviously the pressure came down and it was close at half-time. You got out, but then they started to just really work their way back in.
Yeah, it shows the class of their team as well. As soon as we started to back off the gas a bit, they scored quite quickly, and they can kick from 45, 50 out, whereas we can't. So we had to hold our nerve right to the end.
What was the message at half-time, given you knew that perhaps that you'd have probably a better conditioning into this last half?
A little bit of that. We know these conditions suit us better, but we felt their kick-outs were a real strength of theirs. We wanted to adjust to that a little bit and just hang on to the end.
Of course, we go to Perth, your hometown, next week, and a 10-point buffer is pretty handy when we're looking at aggregate.
It is, and the Perth game's going to be really exciting. Last game at Subiaco, so hopefully we can fill the stands out. This is a high-class game with quality players on both teams, so it's worth coming to watch.
Just to wrap up too, mate, you're mixing it with the very best in the competition. Tell us what it's like.
Oh, it's pretty handy changing full forward in the middle with Patrick Dangerfield and having Eddie Betts and Chad Wingard on either side, so stars across every line. I'm loving it.
Nat, congratulations. Outstanding performance.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Nat Fife. 25 disposals, the 6-pointer, 3 overs and a behind as well. Kate Simpson, 37 disposals, but didn't finish the game. And Zach Merritt with 36 disposals. He was fantastic. And Hibbert also 32. So that wave of run off half-back, Mark Bickley, is where they really set it up.
Yeah, they did. They shared the ball around, and I think that was the difference later on. Later on, we're just seeing some of the highlights. Plenty of feeling in this game, and Look, there's no doubt this is a fierce competition, and the Irish, don't worry, they will respond in Perth, but just the composure that Australia were able to show later in the game just was the difference. And just once again, Patrick Dangerfield just showing there, but didn't that make you salivate for all footy fans when you had Nat Fyfe talking about him changing at full forward with Patrick Dangerfield? What coach wouldn't want that at his disposal? Chris Scott, a very lucky man.
What a dream team that would be. So, Kade Simpson, 37 disposals, as we mentioned. He's with Sodas.
Outstanding, Kade. Great to see you back in international rules. You've been here many times before. You've won the medal, in fact, for Australia. 37 today. It was outstanding.
Yeah, I don't know, it's surprising, but I think the boys worked really well down back together, and considering we've only been around each other for a couple of days now, it's good to get the result.
Kade, nasty not. We just see some padding down here on the right leg there. You came off towards the end. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, all good. Just caught the studs on the shin, so all good.
Now, of course, you're nearing the 300 games too for the Blues. Season number, I think, 16 it is next year. How's the body holding up at 33 years young?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously got to work a bit harder to try and stay fit, but I did a bit of work over the break, so yeah, feeling pretty good, and no surgeries at the end of last year helps. Now, 4 series for you in the international rules system. You're probably in a really good position to assess how it's changed and evolved over the last few years. I don't know. It's just a bloody quick game. You make a mistake, and they're so skillful, the Irish, and they kick the ball unbelievably well. So, yeah, usually if you turn it over, it ends up going back over your head. Okay, congratulations today. Good luck next weekend in Perth. Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Sodas. We're hearing some potentially very bad news for Collingwood. Scott Pendlebury, we're being told, has a broken middle finger on the other hand. So we know he's had some hand issues, but this, we're told, is on the other hand, and that could be a big setback for his pre-season.
Yeah, look, I think everyone's just hoping that it's just a really clean break. It's not a tendon or anything like that. So if you're going to have a broken finger, now is probably the best time to have it.
So Australia have won the first test, but we're still alive. Next Saturday night, Australia and Ireland from Subiaco Oval for the last time. The Aussies with a 10-point lead in the series. It's been great fun at the Adelaide Oval. On behalf of Mark Bickley, Ty Kennelly and Mark Soderstrom, Basil Zempilas wishing you a very pleasant evening. Bye from Adelaide.